going on, guys? Bayern Ryan here, and as of right now, I'm by myself. Devin hasn't joined, and Rayyvana said her computer's freezing right now, so we are slowly working through the technical difficulties of this. But hey, we've got a great show planned. We're going to talk about the Women's World Cup, some of the I guess controversies that have been going on with the Women's World Cup thus far. We'll go over some transfer stuff when Devin gets here. We'll also probably go over the madness that's now starting to go on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck they want to call it this week. About the fans at the Arsenal match at MetLife deciding to fight everybody, which is fucking weird. But hey, if you want to fight each other, fight each other. Just take it the fuck outside. Don't fight in the stadium like a dumbass. So, what's going on, Ansar? Yes, I'm in the building by myself right now, but everybody's having a little bit of technical difficulties. They shall be here soon. But as of right now, y'all are stuck with me. Let's see if we're. Yeah, so I don't know where Devin's at, but I'm here. Yeah. So as of right now, let's see. Which Women's World Cup game is played today, tonight? Okay, so tonight I guess is Colombia versus South Korea. I don't really know a lot about them. Let's see. I think we got Rayyvana here. Let's see. Are we there? I think she's there. Let's see. There we go. We got one of them, Ansar. So me and you aren't the only ones here. Welcome to the show, Miss Rayyvana. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's a whole lot earlier than our normal shows, so we may not have as many live guests. I'm also testing out this whatever it allows you to do it on Facebook and YouTube, so we'll figure it out. Um, but yeah, Devin was supposed to be here. I don't know where Devin's at. He may be eating lunch or something. But let's go ahead and jump into Women's World Cup, which has been actually kind of weird. From the, I guess it, and I do not want to say started off with a bang because that would be very insensitive with
Yeah.
the mass shooting that started basically from day one. Um, I mean, it's the first time in what since I guess the Christchurch shooting that they've had a shooting like that, and it just so happens to be at the beginning of the Women's World Cup, which is insane. Um, I don't want to say it's because the U.S. was there, but it may be.
They brought that
Um,
energy.
yeah, but I mean, but you started it with that type of a controversy. Then you had the women of I think it was the Netherlands and Spain, kind of poking fun at the haka dance,
Hmm.
and then them having to go back on that because obviously they don't understand what the haka dance is, um, and everything that goes along with that. So I mean, it started off, I guess, controversial. It's starting to finally fix itself, and then the politicians decided to come in and yap off at the damn mouth. Thank you, Nikki Haley and bunch of dumbasses for giving the U.S. women shit for not singing the national anthem.
Which is absurd because, I mean, they just stood there quietly. They didn't kneel. It was not an active protest. And it wasn't even all of them. Some of them sang the damn national anthem. So it's like,
I,
what do
I
you want
just,
from them? What do you want from them?
I mean, it's almost like no matter what they do, they're gonna have an issue with it. But it's like
Right.
I was talking to a couple of people last night on the phone about it, and they were kind of they didn't know how to take it either. It's like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. But for me, and you being in the U.S. And seeing there's, let's see, 30 some odd MLS teams that play 34 games. Every one of them plays the national anthem beforehand. You've got 30 some odd baseball teams and 164 games. All of them play the national anthem. All the hockey teams, 30 teams and 60 something games. NBA teams, 30 something and 62 games. NFL, you've got 30 something and 16 games each. So, I mean, the thing is I guess the question that needs to be posed is when you see teams like the Italian men, or you know what I'm saying, the Brazilian women's team or the Colombian team singing to the top of their lungs at World Cups and at like Olympics, they don't play the national anthem before every freaking thing. So I mean,
Right.
is it more of a question of has it been diluted down in this country to the point of it doesn't hold the same weight that it does in Germany or Spain or France or something like that? Because, good Lord, just in baseball alone, 30 something teams, 164 games. And that's before you start going down the route of another 5 leagues of 50 or more teams.
I mean, and
So, I mean,
even
do you
little
think
league
it's more
games,
diluted?
they do it before fucking little league games too. So it's like
Jesus.
high school teams, like everybody does it here.
What
So
the
but
fuck?
I think one of the things that I thought was like the most ridiculous was they were showing like the video of, I believe it was Haiti. No, it was Jamaica. The Jamaican national anthem they were playing, and
Mm-hmm.
they were showing like some of the women were crying and like the passion
Yeah.
behind them. But there was like good reason for that because they shouldn't have even, they had to crowdfund to get to the
Yeah.
World Cup. They literally had to use fucking GoFundMe to get to
And
the
it's the
World
and it's
Cup.
the first one that they've ever been to.
Exactly. So there's like
I
a huge
mean,
difference there between, the
yeah.
US, who's favorite to win every single World Cup, and
Hey,
then
hey, 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 hey. Germany's a favorite.
Germany is the favorite, and they really showed that. I actually caught some of the match. Obviously, I'm Central Time, so
Okay.
these times suck shit for me. So, but I caught the end of it. And I mean, and I watched the highlights this morning. Fucking fantastic display. Like they're proving why they're favorites here. But yeah, no, I mean the whole national anthem thing. No matter what they did, they were gonna, conservatives were gonna be pissed about it. They were saying that they should not bring the men's team home from the World Cup last year over like, I don't even know what their like small active protest was. I don't know if they wore armbands for gay rights or something. Maybe that's what it was,
No,
but
they had inside the, I guess the, I don't want to say the holding area because it sounds like the criminals, but
yeah.
the pregame area, like where the team hangs out and that type of stuff. They had the U.S., I guess whatever you call it, the shield, and then it had kind of like rainbow colors and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And it was just, I guess, a thing of that's how we're going to do our stance for LGBTQ against the Qatar government and what they're trying to push on everybody and stuff.
Right.
But and I've said it on like other things. The Qatar thing, I don't, if that's the way Qatar wants to do it, that's the way Qatar wants to do it. I can't dictate what another country does. But the thing is if you're holding a World Cup and you're essentially telling the world, come to us, be you, this, that, and the other, you kind of can't force your rules and all that on them when you say, "Hey, come to us. We're the World Cup." No, if it's the World Cup, pretty much those types of things have to. I mean, as long as you're not like murdering people, you're fine. But
Right.
that type, if you're from Serbia, and I hate bringing this part up, but if you're from Serbia and you want to fight a Bosnian or somebody like that, because, and yeah, I don't get into Balkan politics because there's not a person on the planet that understands that craziness. But with those, you don't see those fighting at a World Cup. You don't see Israelis and Palestinians fighting at a World Cup. That's kind of like the Olympics. It's supposed to be there to stop all that hatred and fighting, and I mean wars are stopped for that type of stuff. So it's I don't get why in the US, and I noticed it when I was in Germany for a while. Um, you don't see politicians on fucking TV all the time in Europe. If they're on TV, they're on TV for a reason.
Yeah.
Like there's a big vote, or God forbid, it's a damn election cycle, and then they're all over the damn place. But you don't see them like um like they are here, where Fox News, CNN, whatever, 24-hour horseshit. Um, so I mean, I guess it's one of those things of politicians just have to find something to stick their head into, and it's, oh, Women's World Cup. I'm a woman politician running for president. Let me put my 2 cents in, even though that's not my lane. I have nothing against it, nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sticking my head in for no reason.
Right.
So I don't know.
I will say, I think that it's a hate crime specifically against women that Alexi Lawless is covering the Women's World Cup. When I
I think it's a
saw that,
hate crime, period. His stupid redheaded ass is out there. No
I
offense to redheaded people, but he is the proof that redheaded people are demons.
I couldn't believe it. Like, this is a man who has been vehemently against, the fight for equal pay of the U.S. women's national team. This is a man who, supports Ron DeSantis and, like, hates gay people. I mean, fucking half the women out there are gay. Half of them are dating each other this World Cup.
Well, my thing with
Me too.
and welcome to Devin. Devin, you walked into the straight up shit show. But she's going off of the shit show that is Alexi Lawless. Why in God's name that stupid bastard is covering
Anything, but
literally anything.
specifically this.
And it's big. Exactly.
Sports.
Yeah, it's because it's Fox Sports, and the thing that's crazy, and that I guess Devin had noticed. Rayvana, I don't know if you watched the last World Cup, but he's a pawn. He'll do whatever somebody tells him to do, as long as he's kissing somebody's ass.
And
Yeah.
you know, the worst pundit at the end, he just keeps getting promoted. He just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up. And there's a reason for that, because he is that, that voice to cause controversy. He's that guy to jump on. It's like, he loves the firestorm. He wants you to put negative comments on his Twitter because that engagement bumps him up and it gets him that next raise at Fox. Just ignore the motherfucker. Just ignore him.
No, we can't ignore him, because if we start a shit show, maybe he'll do to me like, what's her name, Carly Lloyd did, and I can start enough of a shit show where he just fucking blocks me, and then I'll step down that U.S. soccer roster. I mean, I don't want to get banned by like Landon Donovan, because obviously I'd like to have him as a guest.
And we like Taylor. We like Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, I love Taylor Twellman, but Stu Holden's kind of a fucking little pygmy too. Fuck that guy. He's like walking down that Alexi Lawless route when Stuart Holden could be amazing.
He toes the corporate line. He toes the corporate line every time.
And that's what Alexi does. Yeah. It's the same thing that I saw on like the what's his name, Rick Strom, the guy from TYT Sports.
Yeah.
He did a thing on what was it? The Celtics basketball player that was like staunch progressive politics, was marching at BLM things, and then all the something freedom or something is his name. But he like completely flipped and went full on conservative now, and is trying to run for like office.
Yeah, Enes Kanter, the kid from Turkey that Erdogan wants dead at every airport that he goes to.
But the thing is it's like, dude, you went from like praising LeBron James and everything to now doing this type of shit. So
Right.
I think honestly that's the same thing with Alexi Lawless, because 4 or 5 years ago he just made stupid takes. Everybody was like, this guy's a moron. But now he's gone down that rabbit hole of let's start more shit that I shouldn't be even involved in, but I'm going to start it anyway. And I loved his little take on the U.S. women team. Like the first day, he's like, oh, if the U.S. women are looking at the results from today, we shouldn't have a problem. We should be ready to walk through this tournament. Yeah, I watched you play Vietnam. You took almost 35 shots.
Right.
You ain't ready to play fucking Zambia, let alone Germany or England or Netherlands.
And real quick, can we give a shout out to that keeper for Vietnam? I mean, she should have been player of the match.
She's
100%.
fantastic.
Yeah, to give it to another player other than somebody with 28 saves, and it's like, are you serious?
I mean, My thing is how many, and let's not go down the rabbit hole of stereotypes because shit, I'm going to do it anyway. The girl's only like this fucking tall.
Uh-huh.
Right.
There's
The
no
whole
way in
team
hell
was like
she's diving
average
all
five
over that damn
five, I
thing.
think. Most of them, that was like their height average was 5'5", and they're out there, and she's still able to fucking. They were pretty good, I'll say. No one expected a massive performance from them, but they were kind of butchers for a while, and they weren't
Yeah.
getting the
I
fouls
mean, and
called.
at least it's not, who did the US play the last time that they blew out like 13-0 and started to do all the
Very
teacup
first match.
bullshit?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The very first
But the thing is
Thailand.
like, was it Thailand?
Thailand.
Okay.
That's right.
So Thailand shouldn't have even had a chance, but they decided to run the score up on them, which, I mean, if they're going to allow you to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
But Vietnam was like, I'll be damned if you're going to score 13 on us.
Mhm.
We will fuck your world up. And I mean, the thing is like, granted, Vietnam had 0 shots. they only had like 19 passes in their own half. So I mean, they were getting dominated, but the score line, it was just US. Can you fucking shoot?
Right.
And 3-0.
Alex Morgan, are you good enough to start?
Well, 3-0 in a showing like that too, like you said, with it doesn't read well for the United States. It looks like a victory for Vietnam. Yeah, it's like I mean, because we took so many shots and she had so many saves that it becomes it was like a lioness effort of Vietnam, and like you said, it wasn't technically proficient. It was a butcher's effort. They were out there to survive. They were out there to survive and make it to the next match, and they did that. They I think they showed themselves well against the defending world champions. Like it's just it could have gone a lot worse. It could have gone a lot worse.
And if you look at the US's record coming into the tournament, I mean, granted, against the top 10 teams, they're only like 3, I think they're 3-6-1 in the past year and a half going in against top 10 level opponents. Well, you're looking at Vietnam's 32nd against anything below the top 10. They're blowing teams out 6, 7, 8, 9-0. And it's like Vietnam walks in and it's like, okay, you only handed them the same level that you handed Canada in the She Believes Cup. And granted, now that Canadian team, I don't count that really as a win for the US because that Canadian team really didn't give a shit. They didn't want to be there. They weren't getting fucking paid to be there. They were kind of getting forced to be there because the Canadian Soccer Association said if you don't, whoever doesn't show up doesn't go to the World Cup.
Right.
So you're
basically forfeiting your badge if you don't play.
So they didn't give a shit, but still they made the final. That was the crazy thing.
Right.
It's like they didn't give a shit, but they were still top 2.
No, I know I'm coming in late, but Rayyvana, who are you supporting for this World Cup?
We actually didn't talk about it yet, and I'm sort of torn.
Oh, I know who she's going for. She's going for China and Vietnam because she's a communist. If you read the Twitter,
I'll take that back. Everybody, Ryan knows I support the Dutch, so I support the Netherlands, but I think America's going to win it.
I'm going Germany. Germany's going to win it.
I'm torn. I like the U.S. women's national team. I like a lot of the players on the team, but I also think if they win again, what does that really say about women's football versus if another team is successful? I think that Australia is going to get into the final against the U.S. I think there's going to be some
upsets. Can carry that team. You think Sam Kerr can really lug them across?
I mean, they beat barely, but they beat Ireland without her. Although they really should have beat them significantly more comfortably.
Yeah.
I want Ireland to. I know it will never happen. I am rooting for Ireland.
For me, it's one of those. We've got to allow the groups to kind of play out because I want to see like Germany's still playing without Hegerberg as a center back. They're playing without Oberdorf, who's our best center defending mid and honestly the best center defending mid on earth. You've got England that has a couple of injuries. The U.S. does
Franz and I mean like there's players for them.
And the U.S. has injuries.
Yeah.
But I mean, the difference between Germany's injuries, England's injuries, and Germany or the U.S.'s injuries, the Germans can come back in the second or third group stage game. The English can come back in maybe the third, maybe the first knockout round. The U.S. injuries, a lot of those, they didn't even make the fucking trip.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sophia Smith may be able to carry them by Vietnam, but you're going to have to find fucking something that's going to carry you past. Because I've got in the final, I've got the U.S. losing in the quarterfinals to Spain,
Mm.
and then
Oh.
Spain knocking out who was it? France, and then I've got the U.S. Germany knocking out England, and then Germany beating Spain in the final, and then England finishing third. I think is what I got. But the thing is it all depends because if Ada Hegerberg from Norway gets kicked up, she's arguably one of the best individual women player. You've got Spain who has individual talent all over the place. Uh, Devin, I know you got a interview here in a minute. Just let me know when you got to go.
I'll hop off, but I'll hop back on. I got a 12:30 call I got to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as the tournament goes, then you'll start seeing the players start kick up. Honestly, for me, I just love watching the Japanese team because it's just like the guys.
Yeah.
They clean up their locker room. The fans are picking shit up. I mean, you can't hate Japan. I can because I'm a Germany fan and we got screwed over in Qatar by Japan. But I don't hate Japan. I kind of hate the U.S. I hate the U.S., but it's not the women's team because of that. It's the U.S. fans.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I don't want them to win 3 in a row because I'm sick of the American Outlaw fan.
I was about to say, you're not a fan of the Outlaws?
Those fucking clowns, my God. You see them every 4 fucking years.
Right.
And they act like they are the greatest fans in the world. But it's like, dude, I haven't seen you in 4 fucking years. Where you been? You look at the She Believes Cup and there's like 12 in the fucking stands. You go to a World Cup, there's like 1,200 in the stands. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
I was playing I was just playing through the Women's World Cup on FIFA the other day.
Oh, Jesus.
And you could hear the Outlaw chants if you play as the
I hate that mode. I cannot believe they gave Alex Morgan like a 90 some odd rating.
What did you expect? If they could put a
What
female on the cover, it would have been her. Every single
What the fuck has she done?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She is their poster girl. Like, honestly.
Sam Kerr should be the fucking poster girl. That chick is bad as... Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Even though in 2007, her best World Cup when she scored 8 goals, she failed in the final.
I would put Marta on my Mount Rushmore of players regardless of gender.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. Now, that's the one that I kind of agree with. Exis Putelis, the Spanish player. Yeah. She is fucking insane. And that would be the reason why I have Spain go into the final. That girl is ungodly talented. But the thing is with and Devin with your Netherlands team and with her and Spain, like we went over at the beginning, they decided to start the World Cup fucking up. They made fun of the haka. A few of the ladies on the team decided to make fun of the haka or poked fun at it. And I can understand how people can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, we're going to do a funny TikTok and do the haka. But it's like, okay, you need to know the history behind that and why they do that and what it's about. And then it's like, okay, don't fuck up their culture by doing some stupid shit.
Slight culture vulture, like right there.
Yeah.
You take a Warriors war dance and turn it into a TikTok video. It's just, it kind of kills the value.
But see, now for me, what they did was wrong. Now, and I'll go back to, because Rayyvana is a member of the TYT stratosphere, but back to one of her, I don't want to say co-host or co-employees, Rick Strom did a thing on the haka. That's kind of how I knew about it, because I followed their sports thing. But for me, I don't agree with him in the fact of when they go to like the Sevens, the All Blacks and stuff like that, when they go overseas, when they do it and the fans are chanting during it, I don't see that as respect. I see it as the haka is made for intimidation, is for celebratory things, right? But if you're going to play England or Ireland or something like that, and the fans decide to stand up against you, it's showing that it's actually, you know what I'm saying, they're going with what it's for.
Right.
You're trying to intimidate them. They're trying to intimidate you. It kind of makes sense.
It's like the WWE in a sense, and like the heel comes out trying to be intimidating, but the fans cheer for him. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's like when the guy comes out, the bad guy comes out, but they cheer for him. It's
Yeah.
very
And the crazy thing is like when they go overseas to that type of stuff, or when they come to the US, when they do the haka, they do get cheered a lot. And for me, the fan thing I guess you can see it both ways. But if the other team is just standing there, like I think it was South Africa did it at one of the tournaments, they just stood there, arms locked, and just stared at them. And when the haka was over, they just stared them down. So I don't see that as disrespect. I see that more as you're trying to intimidate us. We're going to try to stare you down. Intimidation for intimidation. Now, granted, it doesn't work out a lot of the times because when you try to stare them down, the All Blacks normally beat you like 60-3. I mean, it doesn't really turn out well. But the thing is that's why I see that side of it as they try to intimidate you. You try to stand up with them, and then they tear you a new asshole. So I think that's actually something that they kind of enjoy, except for the doing it for a TikTok bullshit. That's I don't know what y'all's thoughts on that is, but go for it.
Well, and Rayyvana, please go ahead. I'll tell you mine. I'll close with mine before I dip off.
I was just gonna say, I'll let you, because I was just gonna talk about New Zealand winning their match.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's cool. I mean, honestly, to me, it's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. And honestly, I watched an entire, I think it was like a preparatory school do it for a retiring teacher. So to me, there's videos of the haka all throughout that, they've done it in different situations. Seeing it in a sporting event is a beautiful thing. It's like watching the Brazilians or the Mexican national team cry during the national anthem, like, because it's so it's passion. It's to me, it's seeing those guys do what they do at the peak of their sport and implore their culture and shout out their nation. That is distinctly New Zealand. There is nothing about that screams Ireland, United States, Australia, anywhere else. That is a New Zealand thing. And the Maori people that do it, God bless them. And to the fans that want to be involved in it, I simply ask, just learn more about it.
Yeah. And don't make it a fucking TikTok dance. Jesus Christ, don't make it a TikTok dance.
Guys, I gotta hop.
All right. But yeah, I mean, that for me, that's just, what I'm saying? It just seems like it's one of those, it's made for intimidation, it's made to honor and that type of stuff. If somebody wants to intimidate you back, as long as it's in a respectful manner, you're not sitting there like turning your back to them while they're doing it. That's disrespectful as fuck. Like, if you turn your back to them, I wouldn't give a shit if you like just said, fuck this, we're just going to attack their ass. Beat the shit out of them. I don't give a damn. But the New Zealand women and the Australian women are going to be a force that people I don't think quite understand. Like, Australia is that team, and when Sam Kerr comes back, they go from that team to that team. So, because she's a freak of nature, she doesn't even look like it either. That's the crazy thing. She's like Thomas Muller. She doesn't look like she should be good. She looks like she should be uncoordinated, maybe a little slow. Fuck no. She's the most undercover soccer player I've ever seen in my life.
I was reading too that she didn't even start playing soccer until she was like 13 or 14, and before that she was playing Australian rules football, which is more like rugby. And then eventually she aged. There was no more women's or girls teams when she got to a certain age, so she had to make the switch over to play soccer. And just like, that's just crazy to wrap my head around. It's like she didn't really get into this until she was like 13 or 14, and now she's arguably the best player of women in the world right now. Like,
she is by far the best at her position.
Right.
And it's like Ansar said, she has a 91, and on the video game, her physical stats are better than Mbappe's. So, I mean, the thing is when you're looking at a female player that's 91 rated, and the physical stats are just ungodly compared to some of these then you start looking at it like, okay, Sam Kerr is a superstar at Chelsea. She's a superstar for Australia. Putellas is a superstar for Spain, and I think she's arguably, and I'd say outside of Sam Kerr being a striker, she's one of the best overall players, top one, top two,
Yeah.
arguably, depending on how you want to do it. And even in the club level at Barcelona, how in God's name do you start putting Alexis or not Alexis, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Crystal Dunn? They do jack and shit for 11 months out of the year in the NWSL. They don't do well. Okay, I'll give Crystal Dunn that much. Crystal Dunn, what's her name? Tiffany Rodman. Those are really good
Trinity.
NWSL, or Trinity Rodman. Do extreme things in the NWSL. Rapino does dick. Morgan is dog shit. But those are the two. Then you've got the Muse twins, I think, or sisters.
Yeah.
One plays in, I think she plays for United or City. One of those two. She plays in Manchester. One of those. The other one plays in the NWSL. So I mean, the thing is those are the players that are actually playing during the season. Alex Morgan should not be anywhere close to doing that because she doesn't do anything for 11 months.
Right.
And then even in the World Cup, most of her goals are tap-ins, or against teams like Thailand where she'll score 5 and then she won't do shit. But because she scored 5, she's at the top of the group. Or, I mean, Megan Rapinoe, her biggest issue is, one, she's old as shit.
Right. She's about to be 40.
Yeah, but she's old as hell. But she's that, I guess, like Messi. When she comes on, she's that free kick person that can find where to either put it in the net or find the good pass. But it's like Ansar said. Alex Pop is an 85. Alex Pop is by far one of the best strikers not named Sam Kerr in the World Cup. But no, she plays in Germany for Wolfsburg. She plays for Germany. Oh no, EA Sports fucking hates German teams. So I mean, and even if you look at it's like I don't know how much you play like FIFA and stuff normally, but
Quite a bit.
okay, so if you look at the English men's players, they're way over fucking rated.
Right.
So it seems like on the men's game, the English are overrated. On the women's game, the US is overrated. And
Yeah.
then you've got German players, and I mean you have like the Patelis or the Kerr here or there, maybe a Wendy Renard here or there that may pop in, but it's all US players, the same as you've got the Kevin De Bruyne's and the Mo Salahs and all the ones in the EPL. That's kind of what I see with that. That's why when I play the World Cup mode, it's only with Germany, and I make sure whoever I'm playing is playing the US because I will drag that ass on purpose. But I mean, besides like the that type of stuff, what type of stuff are you looking forward to as the World Cup continues that you're interested in? As far as a team, is there a matchup, a game, or anything like that?
Well, I'm interested in particularly the group with Nigeria, Ireland, Australia, and who's the fourth team? Did I say 4? Australia, Nigeria, Ireland, and
Canada.
Canada, because I think it's a
Yeah.
really competitive fucking group. Like, there's not a team in there that
Yeah.
I would like want to face as any of them. I think that Ireland, I'm really excited to, I don't think they'll make it out of the group, but I wish they would because I like watching, Katie McCabe play. I think that she's
Mhm.
a real badass, and Denise
Now,
O'Sullivan.
wasn't she one of the ones that got into a? Was she the one that got in a fight with the Colombian team,
Yeah,
or the Colombian team was trying to take her out?
Denise O'Sullivan, yeah,
Good
they
Lord.
called it a knock on the shin, and then she had to go to the hospital. Thankfully, it wasn't that serious. She was able to play against Australia, but like Yeah,
That tackle was not a knock on the shin. That tackle
no,
was a let me make sure you don't make the trip.
right. It was the your World Cup, career is gonna end before it fucking
Yeah,
starts.
we're gonna. That could have been. I don't know who makes her shin pads, but that literally can be a commercial for them to be like, "Hey, look, our shin pads protect your leg from being shattered into 50,000 pieces."
Right,
Because
and then
them ladies from Colombia were like, "Fuck you and fuck your leg. We're taking this out."
I could not even believe the response to it too. People were like, "Oh, Ireland's women's team, they're such pussies. They can't handle a little bit of, physicality," which is like, first of all, it's a friendly right
Yeah,
before the World Cup. Even the men's teams, any team would have called it off for
it's a
over physicality.
walkthrough.
Right. They
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
need to happen. It's irrelevant.
yeah, and you're both going to the World Cup. It's not like say Germany playing San Marino, where it's
Right.
like, okay, San Marino's definitely not fucking going anywhere. I mean, it's a country of like 12 fucking people. They're lucky to have enough to put it on the field. But it's like, okay, if we're playing them, yes, we're going to use it as a warm up just to kind of get the flow back. That's all that Ireland was wanting to do with it. And Colombia's like, you know what? Fuck you. We're going to see how much you can actually take. But
Right.
what would do for me would be, okay, so I'm seeing that game and then say we play them in the second or third game of the group, like say Canada or whatever. Then I'm looking like, oh shit, these chicks ain't something to fuck with. We've seen them get the shit kicked out of them. I don't know if that's something I kind of want to fuck around with because that's one of those fuck around and find out type things.
Right. I
But I
thought
mean,
it
the Canadians brought a really good team though.
right, which is considering all of the issues they're having with their national teams, both the
Yeah,
men and the women's, you know, they
and
put up
I
an
don't understand
all
how
right.
you could almost go fucking like how the Canadian Soccer Federation is like 3 months from complete and utter bankruptcy.
Right.
Fucking how? You just sent your men to the World Cup for the first time ever. They're winning all these
They
like
had a horrible World Cup,
qualifiers.
but they won
Yeah.
it.
But I mean they still went so FIFA had to have paid them something for showing up. Then
Yeah.
the women just won the Olympics. So I mean you have to make something off of that.
Mhm.
Um, you're participating in the She Believes Cup and all that kind of shit. So you win something, and then your women are going to Australia for that. Are you trying to tell me paying for the men to go to Qatar broke your entire fucking federation? Fucking hell! I know it's expensive, but shit, the flight was only like $1,800.
Right.
I mean, granted, I wouldn't fly to there because if I want to fly to a desert, I can just go to fucking Death Valley, California. But I don't want to go to Qatar. Now, if it was like Abu Dhabi or something like that, then yeah, I could go and see a taxi or an Uber that's a fucking Lamborghini.
Right.
That's just cool. But yeah, if just flying your team and all of the stuff with it to Qatar is going to literally break your entire thing, why are you sending your first team best players to play in the Nations League like two
Right.
or three games against the US and then the Gold Cup you send your fucking backups?
Yeah.
I would say you need to win the Gold Cup and the prize money that goes with it. So when Jonathan David and Alfonso Davies and everybody are like, "Yeah, we played in the Nations League, we're out." Uh, yeah, Canada, what the fuck are you falling into? I mean, Canada still did halfway decent with,
Right.
I mean, a majority of backups. But I mean, now granted, you can't get any cooler than them trying to fight the U.S. That was funny as shit. Um, for me, I think Ansor brought it up. Pulisic, Captain America. Yeah, that's one. He definitely has a punchable fucking face for me. Um, but the thing is to watch the Canadians try to fight the U.S. after the game. I don't know how much of that was the game or was, hey, we may not have a federation, so let's see what we can do.
All right, let's just leave it all out here.
And in the background, we're going to leave it
Right.
all on the field and we're going to leave it all in the locker room.
I was gonna say there was between Australia and Ireland it was after the cameras had been turned off, but there was a fight afterwards between
What?
uh what's her name? There was a fight between I think it's Ford and because she plays for Arsenal, right? Yeah. It's between her and then someone who used to be Katie McCabe's girlfriend on the Ireland team because
Oh, that's right.
there's
Because it was like like
yeah,
she's dating somebody that's on, I guess, her team or whatever, and then it was like an X fight.
right. She
Dude,
first
that's
just snubbed her when they were
fucking awesome.
high-fiving, and then I guess after like she tried to fucking fight her. Which
I
is
mean, my thing is does that add to the women's game a little bit? Fuck yeah, it does, because that
right,
means like, yes, guys are gonna on Twitter that don't see grass or see fucking mom's fucking basement or any of that type of shit. It's like, oh, the women are fucking pussies. This game sucks. It's like, okay, shut the fuck up.
right.
Because as of you've just seen, I have seen men's players that have like cheated with another player on their team's wife,
Right.
and they've never fought before. But yet, it wasn't even really a cheating incident at the World Cup. It was just a fucking fight because it's like ex-girlfriend, yeah, fuck you, that type
Right.
of shit. So I mean, yeah, the women have a lot more of I will kick your fucking. I don't want to say kick your dick in because that doesn't make any sense. I'll kick your titties in. I'll punch you right in the boob type shit.
Right.
And they
And
don't
like
and they don't play because there were some big ass girls like they are jacked. I mean, besides Wendy Renard, but she's like 7 feet tall. It's hard to put weight on somebody like that. But yeah, them girls, you definitely don't want to get kicked by one. And if a fight gets to the point of where a woman's going to kick you, for my 40 years on Earth, women like to kick you in the shins.
yeah. Women and Greg Berhalter, apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I gotta
I don't,
say,
I don't
that
see
when
how he
that
still has a job.
when that story came out, I was like just laughing. I'm like, I've never heard of spousal abuse where it's he just kicks you in the face. Like it's
It's like, you
fucked
know
up,
what?
but, like
I'm gonna kick you in the shin.
right. It was
You, I mean, it's almost like, okay, so spousal abuse, and granted, it's not funny, but
no,
I mean, when you have like Dana White will is the traditional smack spousal abuse. You
right.
never hear somebody's like, yeah, he hit his wife. Really? What did he do? He kicked her in the shin. It's like, what the fuck,
Right.
dude?
He got drunk
You
and
are
then
going to get, yeah, you are going to get laughed at, and I'm pretty sure she laughed at him.
right.
It had to have happened. Like, yeah, how can you not laugh at somebody that's just like gonna kick you in the leg?
Right.
It's
Like
like
not only
she
are you a
probably turned around and
spousal
said,
abuser,
"What
you're
kind
also a
of?"
bitch.
Exactly. That's probably exactly what came out of her mouth. It's like,
Right.
yeah, you didn't even you hit me, but you hit like a bitch.
Also getting
What a
exposed
fucking
for that
candy
because
ass.
you didn't play Gio Reyna enough at the World Cup, on top of everything else, is so
How is
funny.
that not the most American story
Right.
of football or soccer or whatever they want to call it? How is that not the quintessential my mommy and daddy will come for you because you didn't play me? Like recreation 7-year-old shit.
But
Like
also
in instant Karen and Chad type shit.
not playing him too for some petty reasons was also
Yeah.
like, dude, first of all, you shouldn't have this job. You should be grateful every day that you are, for some reason, in the good graces of higher ups in the for U.S. national team football because you fucking suck shit and just you have some weird built-in fan base. I don't get it. Some
But
residual affinity
I
for his
don't even
time
know
as
what
a player.
shitty fans like him.
Right.
Everybody I've seen is like, we need to fire his ass. But now, granted, it goes back to the fucking redheaded stepchild demon of U.S. soccer. People underneath Alexi Lawless's post, they love him,
Yeah.
but they're morons anyway. So, I mean, that kind of gives that away. But it's like, I don't understand how it's like, okay, you've interviewed all these other people. Nobody wants the fucking job. people are telling you no, and you're like going down the MLS rung of coaches. Then you're like going after coaches that have just been fired by other
Patrick Vieira.
nations. I mean, Patrick Vieira would have been fine as an MLS coach, but not as a
Right.
US coach. I mean, for an MLS team, he'll sell you tickets. I mean, he's a name that you can market, but for the US, it's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right. This guy who just
And
came
it,
off like a historic losing streak with
yeah,
Crystal
I
Palace.
mean,
Like,
yeah,
that's the
Palace didn't
best
want
they could
anything.
get.
I mean, but if he goes back to like say, like for me living in the Charlotte area, it's like, okay, Charlotte FC needs to fire that shitbag they have as a coach.
Right.
But he coached under Patrick Vieira. So did Miguel Angel Ramirez, coached under Patrick Vieira. So they're trying to run Vieira's system in Charlotte half-assed because it's half-assed coaches running, you know what I'm saying, the assistant running the system.
Yeah.
So it's hire Vieira, then you instantly sell tickets. You have the guy that runs the system that you're desperately trying to fucking run. He works there, but it's a small market. It's not a national team trying to compete against, I don't know, fucking Germany and Hansi fucking Flick, who at this point isn't doing very great, but we don't have to qualify for the Euros. Those are in Germany. So we can play 27 different defensive formations over the past 28 games.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So,
I was
I mean,
laughing because when you said that, it made me think of that fucking ridiculous tweet. I don't know if you saw it from Nate Silver the other day. He said, my most, because he was talking about how he couldn't wrap his head around how MLS is like, you know, is not nearly as successful as, you know, soccer in Europe. And I was like, how can you
yeah.
not? Like, of course it's not. And the reasons it's not are kind of obvious. But anyway, he was like, my more controversial opinion is that American teams should have access to the Premier League and therefore access to the Champions League. And I was like, what does that mean? And just
What
like
the fuck is he
imagining
blabbing about? Oh,
the
Lord
Chicago
Jesus.
Fire vying for a Champions League. What does that mean, access to the Premier League?
I mean,
Isn't that
what
a
does he
English
think? Like,
term?
hey, we're in the U.S., we've got the MLS, but we should be able to send teams to play in the Premier League. Fucking why?
I don't even understand what his like he means.
I mean,
Right?
yeah, and
Like Man
access to the
City is gonna
Champions
come
League.
play gonna play DC United. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have like in the middle of the season, you're not gonna have like Man U, like fuck it, we're gonna jump on a plane and play fucking Charlotte.
Right.
Let's go. No, they would fucking. Yes, Charlotte beat Chelsea after they played 3 fucking days of training camp. That's the only time an MLS team has a shot in fucking hell against a decent European team. If you let them get in the rhythm of a season, you're gonna get fucked up.
Right.
And if that guy hasn't paid attention to it enough, there is a Champions League that the MLS is in, and they get fucking drug every freaking year in it. I mean, Seattle's held their own, LAFC's held their own, but in a vast majority, I think they send 4, 5, 6 teams to the CONCACAF Champions League, and 9 times out of 10 they get fucking waxed.
Yeah.
But but now it's like, okay, now we're gonna play in the Leagues Cup, which League MX versus MLS, and it's like, can we continue more money grabs with your fucking greedy
Right.
NFL type ass?
And when did these players ever get a fucking break? I mean, like, especially when you look at
Good
European
fucking
football,
luck.
it's like, when the fuck did they get, I don't know, to rest and recover and maybe try to avoid a fucking injury if there's always these stupid fucking, you know, like, who gives a god fucking damn about the world, what is it, the world club World Cup? Who cares?
Hey, I care about that. But the thing is Club World Cup, it's for the European team that makes it, you only have to play 2 fucking games.
Right.
So, but the thing that sucks is it's in February. So right before, like, say, the knockout rounds of the Champions League. And I guess the best way of putting it was Liverpool. When Liverpool won the Champions League, they were in the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup was in oh God, I think it was maybe in Qatar or something along those lines, or Istanbul, one of those. But they sent their first team to play in the Club World Cup. Well, because of a scheduling conflict of an FA Cup game or a Carabao Cup game, one of their cups
Yeah.
in England, I think it was FA Cup, but they had to play their second team, like their U23 squad, in that game because the first team was in a completely different region of the world playing for a Club World Cup, which would have never been able to happen because it was like damn near in between the like semifinal matchup and then the final. A day in the middle of it would have been that Carabao Cup or FA Cup game.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? I mean, in that context, a lot of times the leagues will move games around so you're not thrown in that. But when you're in like an English setting, you have the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and all that kind of shit. So I mean, you have so many cup matches, you can't really start moving them around and doing that because it just can't happen in England. But for like say for Germany, at least our players rest all of December and a lot of January. So
Yeah.
if you play in the Bundesliga, that's fine, unless you do like they did last year and you throw in that dumbass World Cup in the fucking winter.
Which really fucked up the first part of the season last year because no one's
Yeah,
going to be playing
yeah,
and putting it all on the line, any, international players, because they know that they've got the World Cup coming and they don't want to fucking pick up an ACL injury or even just some small
yeah.
injury that, like, I remember Varane was like sobbing after he got an injury in a United match because he thought, shit, I'm going to miss
I'm
out on the
done.
World Cup. Right.
Yeah, and it's the same as like Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
Literally blew his knee out the last Bayern game before the international break started, and it was like Senegal could have been a monster in that tournament if they
Mhm.
had Mane.
Yeah.
And granted, now Mane was playing like shit at Bayern at that time, but he wasn't as bad as he was after all of that. And the issue is like for you watching like say the EPL and stuff because you're a United fan,
Hmm.
so you've seen Erling Haaland at the beginning of last season, 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals. He would score every match. World Cup hits, he was on pace for like 50 or 60 goals. World Cup hit, he was barely scoring every couple of games or every 4 or 5 games. I don't know what that World Cup did to everybody, but it was like as you and Bayern Munich was the same. We were running and fine. World Cup hits, we lose Lucas Hernandez. Jamal Musiala has a bad tournament, and because he couldn't really shoot that well, it started messing with his head.
Hmm.
So after the winter break, that started messing with him. It messed with Arsenal
Yeah.
and their run. It really, really, really like badly affected player like Joshua Kimmich.
Right.
Like it hit him in the mental health side. Um, because even in like February, March time frame, he wasn't back to where he was pre World Cup, and he was just that whole thing of when they asked, it was I still can't get over how we played in Qatar,
Hmm.
and it's like God damn, I never realized. Okay, so if you lose in the summer, you have 3, 4, 5 weeks to sit and then you're another 2 or 3 weeks before the season starts.
Right.
If you do it in the winter, winter's already a mental nightmare for 99% of people. Yeah, now you're throwing that in there, and then you have Manuel Neuer who breaks his leg fucking playing on the slopes, and it's like, Jesus Christ, this is the worst idea ever. So, but I mean, it's who was it on? It wasn't Varane. Who was the other one with that got injured for United right before the World Cup?
um
It wasn't Bruno, was it?
no. No, he he played like every fucking game. Um I'm trying to think who picked up an injury. Oh, from Denmark, right?
Oh,
Oh,
Christian Eriksen.
Christian Eriksen. But Martinez, it wasn't before the World Cup. That was after the World Cup. But yeah, Christian Eriksen picked up an injury right before. But yeah, Martinez got a pretty bad injury at the end of the season. In the fucking Europa League. Ended his season. Like, losing that too. I mean, God, having to watch Harry Maguire play in that game was fucking.
He's not that bad.
He's not that bad for England.
He's bad.
That bad for United.
Yeah. And my thing with Harry Maguire is if he played for like, say, Southampton,
right,
or even back at Leicester, Fulham, something like that, he wouldn't get the shit that he gets. But it's because he's at Manchester United. If you're a shitty player and you're at United, you're gonna get exposed.
Right.
It's kind of like if you're the quarterback of a New York football team. If you're if you're a point guard for the Lakers or the Clippers, you're in the middle of one of the places that's going to out you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have people like, say, Anthony, who nobody can say anything bad about, the little fucking fidget spinner.
Fucking fraud. I can't even believe how much money they spent on that motherfucker.
Well, but my thing is you see, like on Twitter, you see less Anthony hate than you do for Marcus fucking Rashford,
right,
who literally should be the mayor of fucking Manchester.
Right.
And should run for prime fucking minister for everything that kid at 25 has done more in his 25 years than most politicians or players in their entire fucking career. But he gets more hate than anybody else, and I don't understand why. I guess they hate the fucking nice kid.
Right. I can't wrap my head around it because, I mean, he's far and away our best player. He's single-handedly fucking, I mean, we have, I think a pretty good defense now, but now that Luke Shaw lost some weight and back in form.
Yeah, he was one fat little bastard. Right. Oh my God.
Who was it who called him fat? Jose Mourinho literally called him fat in an interview. But
I don't see why people hate Jose Mourinho. Yes, he fucked y'all's team to hell with transfers. I mean, Pogba was a fucking terrible idea. But Jose Mourinho does not give two flying fucks about your feelings when he says something.
He's my favorite manager.
But when he says something, some players hate him. But then you got to look at other players are like, okay, Luke Shaw, you're fucking fat. Lose some weight and you'll be really good. He's finally lost some weight and he's really fucking good.
Right.
Now, watching the Dele Alli interview and then watching how he reacted to, like, on the All or Nothing or whatever it was that Spurs had.
He called him lazy, yeah. And then he apologized, but they didn't show it in the documentary.
But when you see like Dele Alli's, what he was going through in the background, it's like, okay, for me, yes, I gave him a lot of shit online. One, it's because he plays for Spurs and we make fun of Spurs because that's just the way soccer fucking works. But it's one of those things that I'm not going to just straight up attack a player like a lot of those people online are doing. And he was definitely one that they were attacking. He got lucky that he went to like a Galatasaray and stuff like that. But the issue with that is when you play for Galatasaray and Besiktas and Feyenoord and all those teams, their fans are vicious.
Right.
Like I've had fans of Besiktas threaten to kill me the next time I go to Turkey. And I was like, motherfucker, I ain't never been to Turkey. Don't really care to ever go. But the thing was like they'll send you like death threats before like a Champions League match. And it's because we were playing them. And it's like after we were done and the game was over, they were like, okay, now we're cool. I was like, y'all have some weird fucking banter, bro. Death threats are a little far-fetched. But the thing is to hear how he was still treated better in that environment by the fans than he was in England, that's a bad thing.
Right.
And I don't know. how, I mean, Marcus Rashford seems to be able to handle it a little bit better. It seems like he's got a better grasp on that, but he may have had a easier upbringing than, say, a Dele Alli.
Yeah.
But then you have on the flip side, Rashford. Why couldn't you help, or why couldn't you have helped Mason Greenwood's stupid fucking ass? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a young kid you could have brought into your wing and been like, "Hey, you're fucking up. Stop being a piece of shit." Before all of that shit happened,
Right.
and he very well could have. And Mason Greenwood may just be like we all know he is, just a piece of shit. But I don't know. With that situation, it's just one of those. I don't understand how he's getting away with it just because she doesn't want to press charges. We all know the motherfucker's guilty.
Right. It doesn't, but that's the thing that like drives me insane is we saw the pictures, we heard the audio, we all know he did that. He's guilty of sin. But
Yeah.
there's still a huge like force online that's like, oh, proven innocent, which he wasn't. He wasn't proven innocent. The charges were dropped, but they're like,
yeah, drop charges are not guilty, like for the Mindy case. Not guilty doesn't mean not fucking innocent.
And shout out to Hector Bellerin for being the only motherfucker who was willing to say that. Every other player,
Hector Bellerin gives zero fucks. But I mean and back to being from the Charlotte area, we have in this area for their MLS team, you have two players on their team wasn't convicted and wasn't truly charged with sexual assault because when the story finally broke, the young lady that was a part of it started getting threats and stuff online from Charlotte fans, and she just wanted it to fucking go away, so she didn't press charges, like or not really press charges, pursue charges, like to pursue the conviction. So the thing is, everybody's like, oh, they got a raw deal. They're being treated badly. They're innocent. I was like, no, just because she didn't want to pursue the charges doesn't say that it didn't fucking happen. It just means she thinks that if she pushes those charges, you crazy sons of bitches are going to do some stupid shit. And in the country that we live in right now, God only fucking knows what these crazy motherfuckers will do. Just look at a Barbie fucking movie. Give me a goddamn break.
I mean, the same thing with Ryan Giggs. I mean, the woman literally said, I'm not pushing forward with this case anymore because he's broken me down physically and mentally. I don't have, I just am not, present enough to keep doing this. He did that shit. I just can't move forward with this case. And people are like, oh, a woman will just lie on you and ruin your reputation, which is like, she didn't. He did that shit. And this is,
I mean, granted,
his reputation. This is a man who had like an 8-year-long affair with his brother's wife. Like, come on now.
Yeah, he's not the greatest person. It's the same as like with like John Terry. John Terry's arguably one of the best players in history for the English side and for Chelsea. But he is also one of the most gigantic pieces of shit in history. So, I mean, he's had racial fucking incidences where he lost that literally in fucking court, and not to mention banging fucking wives of teammates. And it's like, dude, which goes back to like the Women's World Cup. John Terry should have gotten his fucking head caved in multiple fucking times, but it never really happened. And that was the thing. And yeah, I mean, there's the big shining one, Mauro Icardi. Come the fuck on, dude. You literally stole a dude's wife.
Right.
And then he gets mad at her for cheating on him. It's like, bro, she was cheating with you in the first fucking place, bro. So what are you mad about?
Right.
She cheated to get with you. You married her, and then she stepped out on you. Come on, man. This is some Will Smith shit. Come on. You should know that. Well, okay, but back then they didn't have the Will Smith shit, or was not known, but it is what it is. But it's like, will women trap you? Yes. That's a thing that everybody knows. But they're not, from what I've seen, and this is anecdotal, but from what I've seen, sexual assault and stuff like that isn't something that they're going to trap you with. They're
Right.
going to trap you with like say what Mariah Mills did to fucking Zion Williamson, where it's like, oh, I thought you were gonna date me and fly me to fucking New Orleans and spend all your money on me and shit like that when he announced he's got a baby and this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's the trapping shit. Like,
Right.
hey, I've got videos of me and you, and I'm gonna show all the text messages. That's the type of shit that from me, that's what they would always tell you as an athlete. Hey, don't get trapped by a girl that's trying to get pregnant and all that kind of shit. You rarely ever saw one that was like, hey, I'm going to bring up some bullshit rape or sexual assault
Because what
charges
does
on
she
you.
get out of that? She gets endlessly harassed online for accusing someone's favorite player of something that he probably did fucking do. I mean, like, look at fucking Arsenal Partey. He was accused by two different women, and everyone was like, "Oh, they're
Mm-hmm.
just mad that he didn't marry them," which is like that's ridiculous because that was never a part of the story. And
Yeah.
then you've got Arteta who's like, "Oh, he's been great despite all of the things going on." It's like what was going on was he was arrested by the fucking UK police and held for questioning. What do you mean? What's going on? Like he
Yeah.
raped
And I
you.
mean, and like, and when people are like with the Mindy thing, okay.
Right.
I mean, that one goes along the same lines as like a Deshaun Watson. It's like, okay, it more than likely happened. The Deshaun Watson thing is kind of more suspect and susceptible to conspiracies and that type of shit because all of them have the same lawyer, which, you know what I'm saying, in the US, that can mean all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But the thing of Mindy, it's 10 stories, 10 women, 10 lawyers, 10 different places,
One of
all
them
roughly the same fucking thing.
right, right. One of the girls was underage at the time too. But and like the other thing I don't understand is like the people who are like adamantly defending him. It's like there's so many accusations. You can't like if they'll show an example of like one of these girls lied in court or something. It's like that doesn't discredit the
Yeah.
9 other women even if that did happen. But I will say Manchester City sold his ass so fast, which is what I've been fucking waiting for United to do with
Yeah.
Greenwood. So, kudos to them for just getting rid of him. And unlike
And see,
United, fucking paying
and
Greenwood.
And the crazy thing is like you can do that in the EPL with Andre Shinyashiki and Nuno Santos at Charlotte FC. You can't get rid of them. They
Yeah.
got rid of Nuno Santos because they bought down his contract, essentially cut him, made him a free agent, and then the team in Portugal signed him for free. But with Andre Shinyashiki, because no charges came, the MLS cleared him to play. And then it's like, so if you try to sell him or get rid of him, and that being your reason, the MLS Players Association is just waiting to sue the ever loving shit out of you.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really do in the MLS, you have unions, which are good and bad. And this would be one of those bad sides. Um, because you can't really cut a player loose like they do over there.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd cut him and be like, I'm David Tepper. I've fucking $17 billion. Sue this. I don't want that piece of shit on my team. But I mean, it's starting to be a Charlotte thing because you've got the Charlotte basketball player. I don't know who whichever fucking one it was because I don't follow the Hornets, but he had pled guilty and no contest to domestic violence. And what does fucking Charlotte do? We're giving him a 3-year, like 85 or $100 million extension because he said he was sorry. Man, get the fuck out of here. John Morant said he was sorry fucking twice till he brought guns to a strip club and then wanted to throw them around. It's like, dude, you can't. Sorry doesn't mean shit. I'll show you 50 Instagram or YouTubers that said that they were sorry and they're full of shit.
Right.
I mean, sorry and apology videos are probably the weakest shit ever. But like, I can't say much as a Bayern fan because at Bayern we had Jerome Boateng, that piece of shit. I love what he did for Germany. Love what he did as a player for Bayern. But off the field, yes, he's the guy that beat that one girl, like physically, yes, but beat her down more mentally to push her to the point of suicide.
Right.
And then you have like Kingsley Coman, who, I mean, he punched his wife or girlfriend in the fucking face for making an Instagram post that he didn't. It was like a sponsored post on his Instagram. He punched her in the face. Okay, one, don't give her access to your Instagram.
Right.
Two, it's fucking Instagram. You know that little delete button? It's pretty fucking easy. You don't need all the other bullshit. I mean, I've posted stupid shit my damn self. And punching, well, I mean, I wouldn't punch myself, but punching somebody never came into that realm of possibility. But then you have like Lucas Hernandez, who we finally got rid of that snaky little piece of shit.
Yeah.
But him and his now wife both have domestic charges on each other.
Yeah.
And then they had the restraining order on each other, which they got married under the restraining order and went on honeymoon, posted pictures. The Spanish government saw it and was like, hey, you violated your fucking restraining order. And it's like, but they're married now. This is fucked.
Right.
And then they're like, well, but he punched her. And I was like, okay, yes, he punched her, but she took her ring, big ass diamond like that, flipped that bitch around like that, and started hitting him like with that. So he had scratches and gouges all over his face. So it's like, in that context, she's already beat him up twice previous to that. He's fought her 2 or 3 times before that. If she hit him with a diamond in a car that he couldn't get out of because he's driving the car, maybe fighting back was the only thing he had at that point. Because, I mean, she didn't have a knife, but she had like a 2-carat diamond that was under her hand beating the shit out of him.
Right.
That just seems like a relationship built on fuckery.
Craziness. Yeah. Hakimi.
That one you can't really fight. Hakimi's a piece of shit. Fuck that fucking piece of shit.
Everyone was like so happy that he was fucking his wife over in divorce court. I was like, that's the mother of his fucking children. And you know that guy's not going to lift a goddamn finger to take care of those kids. And you're happy that he's depriving her of money? What the fuck is, like, they're celebrating this?
And then sitting there saying, like, that's how guys should do things in the U.S. I was like, okay, he can do that in France because that's a loophole that I think they literally closed because of him.
Yeah.
But the thing is go ahead and try that shit in the U.S. It's not going to fucking work. There is no loophole for that shit.
Right. Those are your assets.
They will fucking find you because if you have a house in your mother's name and your mother doesn't live anywhere fucking near you, you're the resident. If you live there with her in the state of South Carolina, your ass is getting that shit taken. I don't give a shit whose mommy owns it. But yeah, that was the shit that it was like, dude, Hakimi looks like a nice guy, but if all of that is actually true and it's not just a bunch of bullshit like some of those rumors are.
Yeah.
If that's actually as factual as it is, it's like, dude, you're a piece of shit.
Because it's not even like best case scenario, he cheated on his wife. Worst case scenario, he cheated on his wife and raped a girl. And you're happy he caused this fucking divorce and you're celebrating him hiding assets from his fucking wife and their children.
And 2 kids.
Right.
It's like, and my thing is it's like, okay, he's Moroccan. So that just seems like that's like against, like, you know what I'm saying? The religion side of don't be a piece of shit. Live like a morally normal human. But that just seems like, with him being a Muslim, that just seems like that goes completely against like what that is. But I mean, in that same context, in that culture, that I don't know. I'm not Muslim, so I don't fucking know.
It is against the two, because my partner is Muslim, and we were talking about this yesterday, and they were telling me that, like, yeah, you're supposed to pay like a hefty sum of money in case you divorce your wife when you get married.
Okay.
That's not really how things work. You're supposed to,
stay married.
But if you get divorced, you're supposed to pay a lot of money and to provide for them in the interim.
Okay.
So like the fact that he's doing this and being celebrated by a bunch of Muslim guys who know damn well that this is not how he's supposed to behave. I mean, aside from the fact he cheated on his fucking wife at the very best case scenario. At least
Which, I mean, that's a morality issue in itself.
right.
I mean, it's like, dude, what the fuck, man? And now you've got fucking Man United trying to sell to whoever the fuck will buy it,
Right.
and trying to compete against the Saudi fucking PIF fund. Good fucking luck with that nonsense. I mean, at least y'all aren't selling players like fucking Chelsea is. Which, for me, that's the PIF fund. I mean, granted, that's a completely can of worms that you can look at in various angles, and it may look like shit and it may not look like shit.
Yeah.
But with the Chelsea thing, it just looks like they bought all these players for obscene amounts of money. We all know players lose value damn near instantly, like a used fucking car, especially if it's an older player like a Koulibaly or a Mendy or somebody like that. But you're selling them to Al Hilal, Al Nasir, those types of teams for literally what you bought them for, if not a little bit more. Are you
Right.
fucking money laundering? At some point, you've got to start thinking, did we watch a legal money laundering scheme from Todd Bowley, the U.S. billionaire that we know billionaires in the U.S. money launder shit all the fucking time?
Right.
So is that what Chelsea may be doing? But if that's how they're doing it, how in the fuck does a team like Manchester United keep up? How do y'all keep up with a PIF fund of 500 billion that can get reimbursed ultimately infinite? Because I mean,
Right.
it'll never run out.
I'll say I was very surprised at our transfer window because I mean I was just expecting the shit show that it's been the last couple of years where we overpay 100 million euros for fucking Anthony and all he does is score 3 goals and then apparently beat his wife off the pitch and but I mean I thought they did pretty well this transfer window, but I mean there really is like the amount when you just look at the numbers, it's like, how do people come up with this shit? All right. Because I'm sorry, Henderson, a guy at the end of his fucking career, is going to be getting paid $700,000
Yeah.
a week.
He becomes the 5th highest player on planet Earth. It's fucking Henderson. He's not even the 5th best player on Liverpool. How the fuck is he going to be the 5th best, or like 5th highest paid player? And he's right behind Neymar. Now, granted, that's if, where was it? That's if this doesn't happen. Mbappe to Al Hilal, which definitely looks like some shady shit where it's like, oh, we're going to pay 300 million, send him to Saudi Arabia for 1 year.
1 year.
We're going to pay him 700 million for that 1 year. And then he's free to go wherever the hell he wants.
And he should do it. And he should do it because
if I was him, I'd be like, yo, Saudi Arabia, what's up?
Right. Fuck yeah. Because he's got to go. They got to pay the transfer fee. There's not going to let him go for free at PSG. He knows he's going to go to Real Madrid once there is no transfer fee to be paid. That's a done deal. It's happening. So
and
why
your family is taken care of from now until the next 5 generations.
Right.
Because you're still going to make money when you go to Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And he already makes 1 point something million a week as is. So I mean, he's already probably worth $250 million at this point, net worth wise. Not to mention all the crazy shit that he gets paid for, like say Nike or Adidas or any of those. Well, no, he's a Nike athlete, so Nike, Jumpman, and Jordan Brand have him signed as an athlete. So I mean, he's at least 250, 300 million net worth now. Fucking go get the 700 million and become a fucking billionaire by the time you're 29 years old. And then do a Messi and be like, hey, David Beckham, you want me to come play for you when I'm 40 years old? What's up, dog?
I still can't wrap my head around the positive press about that deal. And everyone's like, oh, he's going for love of MLS, which is nuts.
The fuck?
He's got equity in the club. He's got equity in their streaming deal with fucking Apple TV. Like everyone's like, "Oh, he could have gone for all this money to Saudi Arabia." I'm like, "He didn't. He went for all this money and the
In the
potential to
U.S.
continue making money well past the time he
Yep.
retires in a year or whatever it is from now." Like he's getting just as much money, but this way it's happening over a period of time and he can just say, "Fuck it, I'm done playing," and still be making all this fucking money. But everyone's like, "Oh, this is the best thing that's ever happened to MLS," which is like,
It is I mean, okay, for me, it's a great idea for MLS fans that don't have to go to a fucking game.
right.
Because the ticket prices, like it's say Charlotte for the last game of the season against Miami, those were fan appreciation game tickets. They're supposed to be $15 a fucking pop. Yeah, those bitches instantly are 150, 175. And it's like, so if that's the entry level, there are people in like the vault that's right on the field that paid 15, 20 grand for that game.
Yeah.
And if they get a Luis Suarez or get an Iniesta or something like that, because they've already got Busquets and Alba. Now, granted, this would have been amazing in 2006, but in 2023, you're going to have idiots that are like, hey, I want to watch Busquets play for fucking Miami. And it's like, okay, cool story. But it's like, as long as you're not paying to go to the game, I don't have an issue with it. But anybody that has to go to a game, you are getting money run out of your ass. Messi gets 90% of the jersey sales.
Yeah.
And Miami doesn't and Miami doesn't
Crazy.
even pay that shit. Like everything that would go to like the club and stuff. And I mean it's when I say 90%, it's like X amount goes to the manufacturer, X amount goes to MLS shop and all that kind of shit for like Adidas and whatever retailer. But whatever's after, like, say, the cost, he makes 90% of that shit. And that's paid by Adidas. So that means he gets a check straight from Adidas, which means you're not going to be getting that little bit of share from, like, say, soccer.com or MLS.com or MLS shop. You're getting a check from them. You're getting a check from fucking Apple TV. Now, granted, nobody's still not subscribing to that shit, but there was a hop in subscriptions.
Yeah,
but it still sucks.
Right.
And people like me that use Androids, that is the shittiest service on planet fucking Earth, because I have to watch everything on if I'm not illegally streaming, which MLS I fucking do.
Right.
But if I was to buy it, I'd have to watch it on the actual, what do you call it, like browser thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that shit. That's
Right.
terrible. Have you ever tried watching a mobile browser in 2023? We're in the age of applications. Not let me watch this shit on okay, let me go ahead and put this out there. Pornhub has a goddamn app. So you ain't got to watch that shit on a mobile browser like a fucking 12-year-old sneaking the fucking iPad into the bathroom. Apple TV, you don't have the balls to come up to fucking Google and be like, hey, can we do something about this? Because we're alienating literally half of the world that doesn't want to buy our shitty phones.
That is crazy.
Damn.
Like, I'll say, I think that I still can't quite wrap my head around why. I think that maybe just being constantly compared to Ronaldo, who is a bigger, kind of asshole in the media. But Messi, I think, gets away with a lot. I mean, this is a guy who essentially bankrupted Barcelona. And I was hearing someone talk about it the other day. They're like, oh, he's forced out by the club. And I was like, forced out by demanding they give him a private jet? Like, that's forced out? I mean,
like, with the Barcelona
money.
But he's also one that has been put in front of the Spanish government, I know, at least twice for tax evasion, and tax issues. So I mean, is he on the field? Is he the greatest? Possibly. Is Ronaldo the greatest? Possibly. So I'll give him 1A, 1B as far as on the field stuff.
Right.
Is Messi more of an asshole off the field than Ronaldo? If a camera's in front of him, Ronaldo's better than Messi. If there isn't a camera that he can see, Ronaldo is one giant walking piece of shit. I mean, he'll smack a phone out of a fan's hand. He'll damn near run him over as he's leaving training so he doesn't have to stop. Messi at least stops, waves. He might not get out of his car. He might not even roll his window down, but he'll get close to the window so you can take a picture of his car's window with him behind it. So, I mean, if we fight over those, they're both not the great. I wouldn't use them as somebody I'd look up to. Like for me, the greatest ever is Gerard Muller, but he played in the '60s and '70s in Germany, then played for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Pele, would he be somebody that somebody would look up as the greatest? Well, I mean, yeah, but he did lie about how many fucking goals he scored, and it always seemed to change when somebody would fucking break his record and be like, oh, we found another 200 goals that he scored for Santos versus who gives a shit FC that doesn't even exist. And if you look back in time, they didn't even fucking play each other. I mean, so the thing is,
crazy lie, by the way.
I mean, he came up, and the crazy thing is like you'll look at some people and they'll be like, oh no, he actually scored those goals, and then you'll have like researcher A will say, well, he scored them in friendlies and he counted friendly goals towards his actual goal tally, or he scored them in practice against, like, say, Santos's backups, and he counted those. And I'm like, dude, if y'all are really picking this man's shit to hell. But for me, Messi's a great player, right? He's not active enough for me to give a shit. Yeah. He's too fucking quiet. He's like the quiet kid in the back of the classroom that's extremely good at athletics but hates for people to fucking say it. Ronaldo is the guy that's really cocky and knows about it. So he's like that jock quarterback that everybody fucking hates unless he's your best fucking friend. I like the Diego Maradona if we're going down the Argentine route. You have got to very hardly convince me that fucking Messi and Ronaldo can do what that little son of a bitch did. I want to see Messi and Ronaldo try to play a game in the World Cup with a cocaine vial in your sock.
Right.
And then snort a line of coke at halftime, put it back in your sock, and bounce around the field like you are the most psycho son of a bitch ever.
Closest we get to that is Jamie Vardy drinking port and Red Bull before matches. And then
But I mean, there's video of Maradona on the sidelines, and you just see him go
right
as he's getting ready to go, and it's like, dude, I remember like in high school we would go to the gas station, get those little things called Yellow Jacket pills. They're like the caffeine pills or whatever the fuck they were. We would pop those before a football game and think we were bouncing off the walls. Now, granted, we paid for it later because when you crashed, you fucking fell out. But yeah, I've never seen the closest thing I guess you can get to it is like, hey, Mbappe, if you smoke crack on the sideline or fucking smoke some meth, then you're on the level of fucking Maradona. But nobody can touch it. Same thing as Lawrence Taylor, who had cocaine stuffed in his damn like waistband during NFL games. And it's like, dude, you can't. Yes, you can laugh about him. You can be like, that dude's a savage or he's a little fucking nuts. But you just got to look at it like Johan Cruyff used to smoke half a pack of cigarettes before the match.
Right.
Then he would smoke the rest of the pack during halftime. And he would do literally fucking everything. But now it's like, oh, well, you've got to eat apples and work out 50 times a day. Bullshit. George Best showed up like Babe Ruth, drunk as fuck. Like George Best's wife found out he was like past the point of rehab when he was drunk as shit wandering down the road looking for his house. And he was like 5 roads over. That's when she was like, yes, it's time we need to address this and put him in the hospital. Right. But it's like, Beckham wouldn't be who he was. Ronaldo wouldn't be who he was if it wasn't for guys like Gerard Muller, Franz Beckenbauer, and George Best. They were the guys before them that did the shaving commercials, or granted, it was like bullshit chocolate or stupid crap like that.
Yeah.
But George Best was the first one that was like the ladies' man that the ladies loved, till he was drunk as dick wandering down the fucking road. That's what the women's game needs.
Right.
A
We need more
fucking
drug
drunk
addict.
cokehead.
We need Sam Kerr taking bumps.
Fuck yeah.
Or goal
Get Sam-
celebration is just ripping a fucking line.
Just snort the damn line up. Do
Right.
like the Dallas Cowboys used to. Just fall down and snort that whole line. Michael Irvin that shit. But it's like for the Women's World Cup, you're looking at women that used to play in front of like 5,000 fans. They're
Right.
playing in front of 90,000 fans now. Give me a cokehead. Come on.
I would say just about
one.
the fan amounts. I saw a lot of people getting all like, they were fucking talking about how the New Zealand, some of the matches they had to give tickets away, which like, yeah, I mean, sometimes two countries that don't really give a fuck about their women's programs are going to be playing against each other. And New Zealand is not a country that's even particularly big on soccer at all.
It's not particularly big, period.
Right. It's fucking hard to get to. But like you look at the Australia games, they're fucking selling out those massive stadiums, right? There was 80,000 people, 90,000 people watching fucking Australia versus Ireland. Like,
and the crazy thing is like
there.
But my thing is like, okay, if Ireland say when they play in New Zealand, if you play in a 50 or 60,000 seat stadium, you do understand these are two extremely tiny countries compared to like say in Australia, Germany,
Right.
US.
Right.
They're not the biggest countries. So their fan bases, yet one lives there. Ireland's not the closest place to fucking New Zealand.
Right.
I mean, that's a little bit of a trip. So I mean, if you're filling up 80,000 seat stadiums like in Australia, I see that as a win compared to say like a 90 seat stadium at the Camp Nou with 90,000 there in Europe where everybody can flock to it.
Right.
You're on an island continent on the opposite side of the world where 90% of these countries are from. And it's at least a 24-hour flight depending on where you're going from.
Right.
I mean, it's the only thing that I can see is, yes, if you fill it up 20,000 plus, that's a win for me. But now if you look at the television ratings, everywhere else in the world it's going to be amazing. In the US, it's going to be dog shit because I am I'm not working the fucking graveyard shift trying to be like, yeah, I'm going to watch the 1:30 game, then the 2:30 game. Nah, fuck that. But at least Alexi Lawless is on TV at that time and I'm asleep. I don't have to worry about that shit.
Just watch the highlights, never have to hear his fucking voice.
The only thing I have to listen to is fucking John Strong, which I hate his homer ass. The reason I despise watching the World Cup as long as the U.S. women are still in it, or any tournament that the U.S. women are still in, is because that's all you fucking hear about.
Right.
The U.S. women don't even have to play and say it's England versus Haiti.
Good match, by the way.
Haiti is fucking insane. But England versus Haiti, they had to find a way to bring up the U.S. women's national team. It's like, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. I mean, yes, they play tomorrow. Fuck them. Nobody cares. And it's at 9 p.m., which I don't understand how in God's name they make that work.
Right.
Because Colombia plays Panama tonight at fucking 10 p.m. So it's like, yay, a game I can actually watch. But they're like the only two games that are at night on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get it. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's hard to get there for the fans who want to watch in person. Times are horrible for the fans who want to watch on TV outside of, I mean, even in Europe, they're doing what we do when we
first thing in the morning.
When we watch fucking European football. Which the other thing that like
it's still Europe. They can drink beer at 8:30 in the fucking morning.
Right. It's encouraged. I was thinking
find me a sports bar open at fucking 3:30 in the morning to watch a USA game. Yeah, I'm sure sports bars are like, fuck, we are getting shitted on during this World Cup. But I mean, it's the same thing as, like, say, the Qatar World Cup was kind of the same thing. The times were kind of fucked up. They were extremely early in the morning.
I mean, that's how it's going to be for Europe when the World Cup is here. It's going to be like
Yeah, they're 6
3 in
hours
the
behind, or
morning. Yeah, ahead of us. So they're gonna, and that's what I was thinking.
they're
Like,
gonna hate life.
like one of the reasons, people are like, oh, you're gonna get a bunch of people outside the U.S. watching MLS now because of Messi. But I'm like, not in Europe. Those
No.
times are gonna fucking suck for them. They're never gonna be. No one's staying up till 3 in the morning to watch fucking Inter Miami. Like,
No,
versus Chicago.
when you can go on YouTube and fucking watch a replay of it. But the
Right.
thing is and most of them, if Apple TV exists in that country, you still have to fucking buy Apple TV.
Right.
Like, one guy was like, I think he was in Brazil. He's like, the only way I could watch fucking Messi is by purchasing Apple TV and then purchasing Apple TV's MLS extension, which is another $100. He's like, I don't think I'm paying like $250 or $200 or whatever it was total. He's like, I don't need to. I can just watch it for free. I was
Right.
like, I'll send you the. I told him in a DM, I was like, bro, I'll send you the link to where you can rip that shit. Fuck them. Like, I don't pay for none of that crap anymore because it doesn't. When they were with ESPN, it made sense because ESPN's $5.99 or now $9.99 a month, but there's so much shit on it.
Right.
But when you buy Apple TV, what the fuck are you getting? Ted fucking Lasso, which if you I've never seen an episode, but if you binge watch it, that shit's over in 3 days.
Right.
Then you have fucking nothing left.
I watched Ted Lasso. I paid for the Apple TV subscription for 1 month and then finished the
Just to
entire
stream it.
fucking show it that month and then deleted it because I didn't need that shit anymore. There's nothing on there that I can use. I wasn't going to pay for the fucking extension to watch MLS when Reddit soccer streams exists. Like,
yeah. But they're like, somebody had shared that Apple TV was in negotiations with the Bundesliga to bring the German league to Apple TV. I said, fuck that stupid shit.
Please
and everybody's like, oh, that's so much money for the league. I was like, you motherfucker, I was like, first, where do you motherfuckers live? And like, some people are like in Italy and England and Spain and France and Germany. I'm like, you fuckers ain't paying for that shit.
Right.
I was like, ask these non-MLS fans. But it's like, this is fucking bullshit. Leave it at ESPN. That's literally what they do.
Right.
And
I mean,
at ESPN, you get fucking everything.
Right. And like, I wonder, like, the commentators that Apple brings with them versus the ESPN commentators. Like,
well, the commentary crew, like Derek Ray, Phil Bonney, those guys, they work for the Bundesliga.
Okay.
So they're like freelance to ESPN.
Okay.
So like if it's like on Sky Sports or DAZN or any of that type of shit, they bring their own people there.
Okay.
But the thing is like, if Apple goes, then yeah, Apple would do the same thing with them that they did with like Taylor Twellman and Maurice Adu and all of those guys. They would just buy out their contracts and bring them as commentators for the Bundesliga. But it's like, the audience really isn't there in the Bundesliga. Like in the EPL, you can have Peacock and NBC Sports, and I think True TV is even a part of it because it's part of NBC.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have all of those NBC networks, but you have fan bases from top to bottom that people have grown up with.
Yeah.
Like I told a couple of people, the reason the EPL is such a big thing here and everybody has like an English Premier League team is because in the 80s, when you would see it on Wide World of Sports or some shit like that, they didn't have to translate German, French, Spanish, Italian.
Right.
They spoke English. So you would see the English games. That's the easiest way that it got them here. And they're like, well, the Bundesliga is now there. I was like, the Bundesliga has been here since like 2014, 15, maybe 13-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it started on Fox Soccer, which you still had to have their dumbass app and all that shit. But I mean, it used to be like on Fox Sports 1, you would have 3 games in the morning, 2 games in the afternoon. Sunday, it was 2 games in the morning, 1 game in the afternoon. Then they you could watch the opposite games on like the app, and it was always Bayern, Dortmund, somebody else. But with like the NBC deals, Manchester United could play fucking Luton Town. You're gonna get a shit ton of people watching on TV. But
I
it's
want to see some success from Luton Town this
yes.
year. I'm rooting for Luton Town.
But the crazy thing is like say Luton plays, I don't know, fucking Southampton or some shit. You're not gonna get or Fulham. You're not gonna
Right.
get a billion people watching that game.
No.
So it like if you've got I don't know, we'll just say Arminia Bielefeld versus like fucking Stuttgart. Nobody's watching that shit here. You've got a
Right.
small contingency of Stuttgart fans, but overall, it's not valuable enough for Apple to pull that shit.
Right.
Apple's buying it for the Dortmunds, the Bayerns, the Leipzigs. Yeah. If I pay $20 to Bayern's site, I can get the radio broadcast in English and Facebook. Shit, you can find Facebook Lives with fucking everything.
Right.
They just turn the sound down,
They
and
put a
then you can
weird
just
filter over it.
yeah. I mean, that's how I watch like Conor McGregor fights and shit like that. I don't buy none of that crap.
Right.
But I mean, it doesn't make sense, and I don't want Apple TV to do shit because, like I said, I've got Android. I don't want to have to pull that crap.
Yeah.
What does it say? PSG just accepted Al Hilal's bid for Mbappe. Well, good. PSG's not fucking as stupid as I thought they were.
Honestly, it just
I mean,
makes
that's Qatar liking fucking. Well, is PSG owned by Qatar
yeah, Qatar.
or Abu Dhabi?
Qatar.
Okay, so Qatar agreeing with Saudi Arabia. Wow, something that never fucking happens in the world.
It genuinely is the best move for everybody, though. At the Real Madrid
Yeah.
wins, they don't have to pay the transfer fee. Mbappe makes a fuck ton of money, and he doesn't have to sit on the bench all fucking year. He can stay fit. You know,
It gives everybody a chance in hell against fucking. Well, nobody is now afraid of PSG
right,
in the Champions League for a year.
right.
PSG
I mean,
die. I mean,
who
they'll
were they
use that
afraid
300
for?
million to find something. Well, I mean, they'll use that 300 million to buy somebody.
Right.
But I mean, the thing now, granted, what now Ansar that's building on that PSG thing. PSG wants Harry Kane. Bayern is supposed to be in deep discussions getting it done. What if PSG takes, I don't know, 200 of that and says, "Hey, Daniel Levy, here's 200 million. Bayern's only wanting to give you 100." You're not gonna fucking say no to 200 million, even though that would be a fucking stupid way of spending the money.
Right.
But I could see PSG doing that because PSG's not. It's the same as Al Hilal, and they're not fucking strapped for cash. They can do whatever the fuck they want with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, please, yeah, it's exactly what Ansar says. I don't want Harry Kane fucking either. So buy him, please, so we can get Dusan Vlahovic, even though he's Serbian and fuck me running Jesus, that load of horse shit. But I mean, Dusan Vlahovic was supposed to be a target at PSG. Goes back to your political history. He decided to do some thing with the Serbian army or some shit,
Yeah.
which I didn't see as far right because I don't understand Balkan politics. So he did that supporting the Serbs, but they said he was supporting the Serbian army and hating Bosnia. So the PSG ultras said, "If you come here, we'll cut we'll cut 3 fingers off." Yeah, I kind of don't want. If I'm Dusan Vlahovic, I don't want to even fucking attempt that.
Right.
Like, nah, fuck that. No, I don't care how much you sons of bitches are paying me. Those crazy sons of bitches ran up on Neymar's house. These are the same ones that tried to storm Messi's house.
Right.
Vlahovic, you're nobody compared to those two. If they're gonna storm Messi's fucking compound or throw fucking flares and shit into Neymar's compound, don't go there if they're gonna say they're gonna cut some shit off. Like if they're cutting digits off, bro, you don't need to go there.
Right.
And France is fucking nuts as is. You don't kind of want to deal with some of those crazy sons of bitches. I thought United States politics are bad, but fucking France is another level crazy.
Their ultras too are like they have no fear.
Borderline, yeah,
No
borderline
fear.
fucking
They will
nuts.
just go to your house and tell you that
Yeah.
you should kill yourself to your face. They'll
Well,
stay
and
outside your house all day to tell you you should fucking kill
yeah,
yourself.
you have the PSG ones that'll do that shit. You've got Schalke ones that ran up on the bus and like tried to attack the players when they got
Right.
relegated. And you see a video of like two Schalke players running down the street squealing like fucking kids as 12 ultras are chasing behind them. It's like, dude, you have definitely got to be careful. If somebody says they're going to cut your shit off,
They'll do
take that as a yeah, that may be something we need to worry about. Now, granted, if it's Galatasaray or Besiktas, I'd be more fucking worried. Or if it's like Zenit St. Petersburg and that type of shit.
yeah.
But yeah, PSG's on borderline with those fucking psychotics.
Right.
You may not want to cross that line into that crazy shit
Like
show.
if you don't want to have to leave the stadium in the trunk of your car every day, like probably
They'll put you in the trunk of your car anyway. They're just gonna do it for a different reason. So I don't know how much longer we're coming up on hour and 50 minutes. I don't know how long you've got today. I don't want to go too far into your day since it's almost 2 o'clock my time. Um, so I don't know how much longer you have, what all stuff you've got to get done. Um, but we're going to go ahead and do at least the halftime part. So if
okay.
you have to go, we'll have that part down.
Okay.
The halftime part. Every guest we bring on is somebody that has an influence of some sort in some outlet. You're a big name as far as progressive politics and that type of thing. You have a big voice in women's sports. Period. You know what I'm saying? So you have people that yes hate you to death. We all do. Uh, but you do have people that look up to you as somebody that brightens their day, which what you say may make them feel actually wanted and accepted. So there's a lot of people out there that look to your tweets or your videos or that type of stuff to feel as one in the world of hate that a lot of people get. How does it make you feel to know that there's millions of people that look to you as that person of a motivation or an inspiration? How does that make you feel?
It's crazy, honestly, because it all happened relatively quickly. I mean, it feels good, and it's sometimes it's easier to focus on the negative stuff than the positive stuff. But I get a lot of messages all the time from people that are just like really nice, and they're like, "When you said this, like it made me feel seen for the first time in a long time. So thank you." And like, it's really meaningful, and just like being able to look at those messages, every day. Especially the times when I feel really fucking dejected because covering politics sucks ass and like every
Yeah.
day is like a new fucking fresh hell to sort of parse through. Like it means a lot. Definitely means a fucking lot.
Now, if you could say something to them, because a lot of your videos and tweets and stuff like that are kind of more centralized to a specific topic or something along those lines. If you were basically, we're going to give you the platform now to speak to them, whatever group it is, doesn't, you know what I'm saying? We don't pigeonhole you to a certain group or anything, but just whatever group, just to be that motivator, that inspiration to get them through the second half of their day, week, month, get them out of that dark hole.
Yeah, I would say like I just said, I focus a lot on the negative because it's easier than looking at the positive sometimes, like, and it becomes more consuming than that. But there is a lot of fucking, particularly for the LGBTQ community, which I think is being really under attack right now. The trans community, I think, is that's the civil rights issue of our time. And you're seeing what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida. You're seeing what these state governments all across the South are doing. But then you get to also see what I live in Illinois. We just made this a sanctuary state for families who are escaping oppressive laws for their transgender children. You can come here, um, and there's assistance programs. So there's still positive things happening. There are people, people who aren't even part of the community who are willing to fight for you and who love you. And So it's easy to focus on the negative, but it's important also to focus on the battles we are winning, and to know that there are people who support you, especially in the wave of, I think I read something like 90% of transgender people who are online have experienced extreme fucking hate. But that those voices are loud, but there's also people in your corner who are going to fight for you, and obviously you have to fight for yourself, which no one should be. I always say this with women's sports: the women athletes they don't just get to be athletes. They have to be athletes, and they have to be activists because of all the fucking shit they have to overcome. And it's really what it is like to be part of the queer community. You don't get to just be that. You also are forced to be a fucking activist. You're forced to be a fucking advocate you know because of all the attacks that you're under. So, but just to know that even people outside of the community are fighting for you, and there's things happening at state level that are positive, and it's easier to focus on the negative, but there are good things happening, and there are people who love you even if it feels like there's not. So I just want to say to those people, if you feel like there's no one in your life that loves you, I love you, and I'll keep fighting for you.
Well, and to build on top of that, that's the good thing about, like, say, the soccer and football community as a whole, the supporter sections, the ultras and stuff like that. We all support the LGBTQ community. You do have groups within those groups that are pieces of shit. But like for me, I fight those pieces of shit. Like literally, like I will punch those motherfuckers in the head. But it's the thing of that's the best part about this. When the women's rights thing, the Roe v. Wade thing came up, you saw the MLS supporters showing the teams, hey, look, you're not supporting the women. And then that's when you would start to see who within that supporters group really, saw those true colors that they couldn't really hide.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I like about that. Even going back to, like, say, the BLM movement and the George Floyd type stuff and all that, where the MLS tried to ban like vast amounts of supporters because of that type of stuff. They banned the political speech, yet they don't understand how supporters work. We know how to fucking we can squirrel that shit in anyway. But that's the thing is the under scrutiny communities, the refugee communities, the immigrant communities, the asylum seekers, LGBTQ, black and brown people, all of that type of stuff. They're all welcome in the footballing community. The supporters love them.
Right.
At Bayern and a lot of the MLS ones, we have signs dangling over the thing in front of the supporter section. It says "Refugees welcome," because in Germany there is that fucking AFD pack of dickheads that are like, we don't want them, blah 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 blah. Or people like in the U.S. when I hear people like, oh well, what's that Ukrainian flag in your tweet thing, blah 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 blah. Well, when I was in Germany, I watched trains of people from the Ukraine show up midnight, 2 a.m. because that's the time that the train station is the quietest, where you won't have counter protesters and pieces of shit fucking with them. But they would show up and covered in dirt that you can tell they just came from. It looked like a war zone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, what I'm saying? It's like, these people deserve to exist. I've got friends that are transgender. I've got friends that are homosexual, bi. I don't give a shit that they're any of that shit. But if somebody wants to fuck with them, yeah, we're one big team that's going to beat the shit out of somebody that's that doesn't like that. But yeah, so those communities are definitely wanted in the soccer community. That's another reason why I really like the Women's World Cup, because that brings those issues forward. And you start finally seeing like the Nikki Haley's of the fucking world and that type of bullshit horse cockery. But then the whole transgender athlete thing, I don't have a fucking issue with it. Riley Gaines, hey, guess what, you blonde-haired Barbie looking bitch? You didn't win a national championship, not because of Leah Thompson. She only won 2 out of the 5 events. She got
Right.
beat 3 other ones. Riley Gaines, you fucking sucked.
And I'll
That's just
say,
that you finished fucking 5th in 3 of those races. Maybe
right.
you're not that good,
And
but
she
you're a
had
pretty
the
face that fucking Fox can parade out there.
right. And she had the nerve. I mean, I don't think that Megan Rapinoe is the best soccer player in the world. Far from, especially
Yes.
now. But she has been a vociferous advocate. No one could ever accuse her of not supporting women's sports. No one could ever accuse her of not, fighting,
I
tooth
can
and
accuse
nail.
her. I can accuse her of being an asshole a little bit though.
Right. But I mean, this is
Because I went to interview her and she just like blew off me and like 7 kids trying to get her autograph.
oh my
So
god.
I was like, okay, this. But once all of that happened, then I found out what happened. Like the regular news outlets, the CNNs, the local Fox affiliate, the local NBC affiliate. That was right after she made her post about Donald Trump and that
Mm,
type of shit. She had just done interviews for like an hour and a half, 2 hours on like a bus.
okay.
That's all they fucking asked her about was that crazy shit.
Yeah.
So the thing is for me, was she being an asshole to us because she's just an asshole? Or was it because she was fucking sick to death of dealing with people at that point because she got the same question 37 times for 2 hours?
Right.
So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that. But I will say her sunglasses choice for the World Cup is fucking stupid.
Yeah, they do suck. But I think
Uh,
Riley Gaines attacked her and like said, you don't know what the struggle is like, which is nuts. Because I mean, and Megan Rapinoe is someone who supports trans women in sports, but like, I mean, again, she spent her whole career not just getting to play her sport, but also having to fucking fight legal battles and fight media battles about protecting women in sports, and not from transgender people, but from
sports.
patriarchal from discrimination. I mean, we have with the NWSL, the whole, I mean, it was 10 coaches were
Yeah.
forced to resign for not like abusing. I mean, here in Chicago, the Red Stars manager was uh, trading spaces on the roster for sexual favors. I mean,
Yeah, that
women,
sounds like the lady. What was it? The player from Seattle or not Seattle, Portland. The Portland Thorns had like a
yeah,
general manager that did the same shit. Like, oh, I'll talk to the coach to get you playing time, but you've got to.
right.
And it's like, man, what the fuck?
Right. And like, let's be honest, that's nothing a male player's ever had to fucking, I mean, very unlikely that that's something,
Yes,
which
that's a
something that
small minority.
right, right. And something that women players face with regularity. I mean, it was like 10 fucking clubs. I mean, they had to make a woman owned club out of fucking protest, to
Mm.
push back against this. And, I think what you're saying is important about the fan bases, because when you're especially when you're talking about as a woman talking about women's sports, I get a lot of you shouldn't, go back to the kitchen. Someone called this the kitchen cup, and like instead of the women's World Cup, and like they'll say you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Fucking
Not just
hate those people.
and being
Are you there? Whoop. Did we lose you? I think we may have lost her. I think we may have lost her. Let's see if we can test and see. I don't know where she went. Oh, yeah, I think we lost her. Oh, but yeah, to continue with. There we go. I think we got her back. Did we get you back?
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fantastic. I was just gonna
I
say that
I
like
had to drop you from the stream because your face was like, and we don't need anybody trying to use that as like a dig against you, even though those assholes won't watch my stream because they hate me. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say that like especially online, there's like so much more hate towards women and sports than you really see.
Hmm.
Real fans, they're not just going to support their club, they're also going to support the fucking women's well,
Mm,
especially when it's European clubs, because it's not like the NWSL versus MLS where they're totally different teams. These are the same fucking teams,
yeah.
just the women's team, the men's team. They'll support them. They'll support the under 21s. They support their club. It doesn't matter, which fucking team it is. And the actual fans, the actual communities are a lot more progressive, I think, than what we see online. And they're
Yeah.
so it can be really overwhelming when you're online, but then, I mean, that's
Well, and the my issue, and it's nothing against, like, say, sex workers or OF personalities. I don't have an issue with that. Hey, make your bag, do your thing. But the issue that I have is when you have somebody like, say, an Astrid Wet or along those lines, L, whatever the hell her name is, the Manchester City fan. Then you have Astrid Wet,
yeah,
that's the Chelsea fan, that are essentially like, at least Elle Brooke is an actual Man City fan. Um, she incorporates that. Yes, that, I guess that's her niche, to kind of bring guys. But you people like Lana, whatever the hell her name is, the Rangers fan, and then Astrid Wet, they just use those avenues strictly to con people into buying their stupid content. And the thing that drives me nuts is you have like Astrid Wet and Lana both, who push their content on underage people.
yeah,
Like when they go to games and stuff like that, they push it on 12-year-old kids, 11-year-old kids that think that it's cool to be there with the OnlyFans model. And it's like, I understand what you're trying to do. You're playing a character, and that's cool. But the thing is I don't think they understand the repercussions of what happens when it blows back on somebody like you, that's an
yeah,
actual fan, or blows back on the sport in itself, because you're looked at as, okay, well, Rayyvana may know what she's talking about, but she's a woman, and so's Astrid Wet. And Astrid Wet's dumb as a box of fucking rocks, and literally has nothing of substance to bring for Chelsea but stupid crap and showing her boobs. So when somebody like you or Kendall Rowan or Anita, or, you know what I'm saying, the list of women that know what the fuck they're talking about, when y'all try to say something, you've got those dickheads. They're
yeah,
like, oh, well, go back in the kitchen. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, I know Kendall Rowan, cute girl, very, very sexually looking. She would bury some of these Newcastle men fans as far as what she knows about her club.
yeah,
Uh, you probably know more about Manchester United than a lot of those fucking 12-year-old asshats on fucking Twitter, or the women's national team. You know what I'm saying? That type
right,
of stuff. And that's why I like having some female voices on. But the only issue with me is I don't want them to catch hell in like my chat, because my chat actually has half of a fucking brain when they actually do show up. But it's with me slowly building this back up. I don't want that to happen. Like if we have you back on for something else, I don't want them to start that shit in here, because, well, I'll drag their candy ass. But
yeah,
it's, you know what I'm saying, but it's that type of thing when you've got those types of fans that are literally making it harder for the actual women fans that know what the fuck they're talking about to really weigh in on anything, because they just look at them as like fucking idiots. And it's
right,
like, no, just Astrid Wet's a fucking idiot. I mean,
yeah,
she's a great marketer because she knows how to market to fucking dumb
right,
soccer fans.
right.
But they, I guess they can't tell the difference between the character and everything else. But
I'll say under every fucking, because I have an account on Twitter that's just soccer. It's just soccer shit. And under every tweet about whatever it is in the game, there's someone saying, I'm the thickest 18-year-old in the world and promoting their OnlyFans. I saw one that was like, it was about someone who died, and she was like,
the
I'm the thickest
fuck,
18. I was like, girl, like, I get that you found an audience that, maybe they're more liable to purchase your OnlyFans than other audiences. I don't
but
know.
this
But like,
ain't
this
where
is
you
not appropriate.
go.
This is not appropriate. That person died. It was some like older player who passed away. I mean, they weren't a player anymore, but I don't
Yeah,
remember who it was. It was a couple weeks ago, and I was like, come on. And
yeah.
like, Let's
gotta
not.
know your. But the thing is like you can even look at like say like I'll look at the local like weather guy, and the same shit'll happen. So I don't know if that's a bot or if somebody's just that uh needy.
I mean,
Because
some of them are definitely bots. This person was like interacting pretty normally. I mean, not
oh
normally,
okay,
but like their their tweets and their interactions seemed all like. I mean,
oh
they had a lot of
wow,
followers too, but I was just like, come on, man.
it's like dude, come on.
Right.
Yes, we've got dumb soccer people, but come on, man, really?
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, just to that point, I mean, I'm not a sex worker. I'm a fucking lawyer. But like I have people, God, it happened like 12 times last week, and people just kept sending me the accounts on Instagram. People make fake accounts of me, and they're promoting an OnlyFans that's
Oh
not mine,
Lord.
and like they're just trying to trap people into paying for them, I guess. But it's like, and I don't have like, I mean, I got a pretty big presence in certain circles on the internet, but like, I'm not like a celebrity, right? I'm not like a huge figure or whatever.
Yeah, the
But like, if that
fuck
shit's
you
happened to
are. You're a
me, like
celebrity.
if that shit's happened to me, that shit's happened to like, people with a lot more visibility than me. And I don't want to hate on sex workers or OnlyFans girls. Get your bag however you're gonna get your bag. Like that's fine with me. But I will say, like, I'm sick and tired of people one doing that shit with my pictures, but also asking me if I have an OnlyFans. Like their response, I could say whatever, politics, sports, whatever it is, and I get comments like,
Do you
"Link your
sell
OnlyFans."
content?
Right, link your OnlyFans, or people DMing me telling me they'll pay me for pictures, and it's like I don't do that shit. Like, if you do that shit, good for you. That's your prerogative. I don't. Stop fucking asking me.
But they want feet pic. That's the fucking shit. I may start selling my feet. Why fuck now? Shit, I'll do it. Hold on, what is this? Ansar said Kim Kardashian is a PSG and Arsenal fan. No, the fuck she's not.
Her
She goes,
kids, I guess, really like soccer. So I mean,
yeah,
she's been
that's
a
why she goes to those places.
yeah.
She and she's Kim Kardashian, so I mean, no matter what team she goes to, she's going to get the red carpet rolled out for her. She's going to jinx the shit out of that team. I mean, I think the Kardashian curse is finally broken because Messi actually won a game while she was in the stadium. But yeah, I mean, it's the same as like Serena was at the Miami game as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know, and I didn't realize Serena Williams was pregnant.
Very pregnant. Very, very pregnant.
Yes, because I saw the pictures, I was like, Jesus Christ, she got fat. And then somebody was like, Bro, she's pregnant. I was like, well, I don't follow fucking tennis. I don't know. Jesus Christ. I didn't know she was pregnant. I just thought, hey, she ain't playing. She just let herself go. Fuck it. Why not?
Good for her if that was
Yeah,
the
fuck
case
it.
too. I mean, the way that she's had to stay in shape for, I mean, God, almost her entire life. Me too.
Hell
I
yeah.
also be
Go full out. Fucking get that beer gut after that shit's done. I don't give a shit.
really quickly. I want to ask: did you see that Shaka Hislop fainted on TV?
I 100% agree with what you said in your tweet and responding to the tweet that other fucking asshat had to get. It had nothing to do with the vaccine.
I can't even
It was
believe
a
it was
hundred
100
and like
degrees.
4 degrees out there.
He's in fucking California in July in the heat under the sun wearing a goddamn suit, and people are like, vaccine. They tried to say when Christian Eriksen had his heart attack, they were like, vaccine. When you didn't even fucking have the vaccine at that point, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Like, yeah, I mean, they're like, I can't even believe all these young, healthy athletes are just randomly, having these events. But it's like, but if you think about, especially since modernly, since the price of these players is so high, you
Mhm.
know, the clubs that's an investment, right? And we were
Yeah.
talking earlier about, they used to be doing fucking lines on the sideline, but now it's like they really carefully monitor what these players eat. They make them train 3 times a fucking day in the preseason, and
Mhm.
you know,
I mean, it's like Alfonso Davies had what was it? Is it myocarditis or whatever it is?
yeah,
That thing. But I don't know. That wasn't from the vaccine. That was just from getting COVID.
Right.
Joshua Kimmich got COVID 2 or 3 times, and he refused to get vaccine for the longest time till he got myocarditis and was out for months. And then Nasir Mazraoui caught fucking COVID in Qatar
Yeah.
and got myocarditis and was like hospitalized for a long time, and he was out from November until like almost pretty much the end of the season with the water on the lungs and that type of stuff, which had nothing to do with vaccines. But these fucking idiots are so hard up for let me
Right.
find something that my conspiracy actually fits finally, because my tinfoil hat's finally wearing out. So they have to like move the goalpost back. They have to find something else. But I mean, if you look at the same and if you look under that same post, it was like, oh, they say climate change. Well, I
Literally.
mean, it okay. You don't want to call it climate change. We'll go back to the 80s and we'll say, okay, fuck it. It's global warming,
Warming, right.
because in Arizona you had 3 hikers die because it was 130 something degrees or 120 degrees on the mountain that they were hiking on, and they had a fucking heat stroke.
Right.
I mean, the guy. I've been on the side of like an MLS pitch, just doing pictures and video, and it's only say, I mean, granted, it's the South, but it's 94, 95, and you're inside of that stadium with the sun beating down on you on fucking grass that's not real, that just, you know what I'm saying, reflects it back on you. It is fucking hot. Like, I've almost passed out, and I'm sitting there in shorts and a fucking t-shirt
Right.
that's now glued to me. So I mean, for him to be down there damn near a 3-piece fucking leisure suit that we all know ain't fucking breathing. Under Armour don't make fucking suits.
I'll say
Yeah.
no one blamed the vaccine when Barca had to cancel their friendly against Juve because they all had diarrhea. Like, maybe
Well,
I should get on that. I'll
like,
be
see,
like,
with
were
that,
they
it's
vaxxed?
they said that that they had like gastrointestinal issues, but what I think it was goal.com or somebody like that said what they're not saying is Baldy, the left back, went to see family in Barisa Niasu or something like that in Africa, um, and caught a bug while him and his brother were in Africa, and was already saying that he was kind of sick when he flew back. Well,
Mm,
he's the most sick of the group.
okay.
So that would mean that it may have been something that he contracted there that brought back. But either way, it's they're pooping.
Right.
But we could go to. I don't see these same crazy sons of bitches saying Jason Aldean, who played golf all fucking day and then damn near passed out from heat exhaustion. It was the vaccine. Oh no, because in a small town we don't have bitches.
Right.
You fucking clown. I hate that guy so goddamn much. I used to like his music. He can fucking bite a dick now, motherfucker. And if you look, okay, and I didn't want to bring up the video because I don't like it. And obviously 90% of the world doesn't. But if you slow that video down and look at all the different things that he, like the people attacking the police or robberies and this, that, and the other, slow it down and read what's on the back of those police fucking uniforms. Last time I checked, our police didn't say Polizei on the back. Didn't fucking have the French fucking word for police on the back.
That's awesome.
Weren't written in fucking Ukrainian.
That's
They
awesome.
had French, Ukrainian, German, and I want to say one was one of the attacking BLM things was in the UK, because you can look at the checkered shit on their little weird helmet. So it's like, Jason Aldean, okay, none of that would happen in a small town because it happened in a foreign country. So it's not going to happen in Macon, fucking Georgia, bro.
Right.
But I guarantee you won't sing that shit down the road from Macon, Georgia, in Atlanta, because you'll get the shit kicked out of you. I don't give a fuck who you are. But you're a big UGA fan. Please go onto that campus and fucking say the same crazy off the wall shit you're saying now. Watch the Georgia Bulldog football team kick off in your fucking frumpy ass. Or the cool thing, I don't know if you follow Occupy, and this isn't fucking soccer oriented, and fucking Ansor had to go, so we don't have any live viewers, but I don't give a shit. But I don't know if you follow Occupy Democrats on like Instagram and stuff. They make kind of those funny memes and shit.
Yeah.
Well, it had Jason Aldean at a dinner with Trump, and like Trump's kissing his wife, like right in front of him, and they put at the top, "This wouldn't happen in a small town." Like, yeah, they right. You try to kiss my woman and like that, yeah, your orange ass is getting fucking orange juice. But yeah, so I mean, it's I don't know. It's with that type of shit, people have to start looking to the video to find out that shit didn't happen in the U.S. A lot
Right.
of those things were just stock video footage from foreign countries. A lot of like, if you look at DeSantis and all of their stupid shit, it either happened during the Trump administration or it happened in a foreign country.
Right.
That's the craziest shit I've ever seen when these people use stock footage from years ago, in a lot of cases, and then when you call them out on it, they get mad. But
It's
for
real
him
though.
but for him to pass out in 100-degree temperature in Southern California in a suit that we know ain't breathing, yes, that's going to be a thing. You don't need a
Right.
fucking vaccine. I've had 4 vaccines. I don't pass the fuck out. I mean, oh, well, you cough a lot. Yes, because I fucking smoke and have lung cancer and eye cancer. That tends to be the thing that happens. That had nothing to do with the vaccine. So, but yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know if you saw the fights in the stands at the Arsenal Man City game at MetLife.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, "Oh, look at these idiots! This wouldn't happen." Who was it? Somebody had said like, "This doesn't happen in NFL games," and this, that, and the other. And it's like, dude, did you miss all of last season? You had
That's
fans
awesome.
throwing fans down like 6 flights of stairs at a Jaguars game. Then you had guys. You had the who was the what sport was it that the dude called the old guy the N word or something like that, and he punched him square in the fucking face. Hockey
Yeah.
game at the Thrashers or Coyotes game, got punched in the fucking face. They get punched at NBA games. Fucking Major League Baseball games are like, watch the Yankee games, dude. People get beat the fuck up every day at them, but it's
Right.
New York. People get beat up all the time there. Just because we're walking in. I love fucking New York people. They don't give 2 flying fucks. But yeah, so I mean, it's not a thing because, oh, it's soccer hooligans. No, it's drunk fucking Americans just
Right.
being drunk fucking Americans. That's our way of life.
I think I mean, is there like hooliganism is such a funny word to use to describe it, but like, are
That's
there
only in the UK.
right,
Outside of the UK, we don't call them fucking hooligans. We call them fucking ultras.
right?
And they're
Are
not a bunch of fucking kids that are like waiting for you in a fucking Stone Island gear. No, these are fucking dudes dressed in all black, face covered, look like goddamn guerrilla warfare guys that don't fucking play around. Like
right?
literally in the background of the let's see if we can find it. It won't let me do it. But in the background of this I guess video or whatever, that's literally that if you see the flames and everything in the background, that's
Mhm.
ultras.
Yeah,
That
like
that's the guys you have to fucking worry about.
right, and like, but the idea to like fearmonger, like, oh, it's so much worse for the sport. Like, it's the biggest sport in the world. Like, so
Yeah,
there going to be a disproportionately larger amount of like, you know, people who are ride or die willing to, go to extreme lengths to support their club or what they think they're doing to support their club. Yeah, of course, because it's the biggest sport in the fucking world. But
yeah,
like you said, this shit happens. I mean, God, I mean, fucking Philadelphia after any win or
yeah.
lose any sporting event. I mean, I see drunk bitches outside Wrigley Field trying to fight cops all the time. Like this
I
shit
mean, you've
happens.
got fucking Philadelphia Eagles games, Chicago Bears games. Their fucking Bears fans are just like Eagles fans, even though Eagles fans get the worst shit because they literally have a jail in their fucking stadium.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bears fans do the same shit. Panther fans really don't because it's that cheese and wine fucking asshole crowd that you really don't want to fucking hang out with anyway, that show up with their Panthers polo and fucking like, you know what I'm saying? They dress like fucking Barbie and Ken. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to the NFL game. It's like, suck a fucking asshole, you bastard. We know you didn't buy the tickets. You work for Bank of America or you're a client of Bank of America and they fucking gave them to you. Even though you could afford like 90 fucking season tickets, you get shit for free, you arseholes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's and like Ansar, he's from Trinidad. So I mean, if you go to a Trinidadian game, one, that's a fucking party. You're not trying to kill each other at a game in the Trinidad or a game in Jamaica. You're not trying to kill each other. It's a fucking party. Now, when you after the game, you're going to try to kill each other, but that's just their political structure.
Yeah.
But if you go to like if Devin was here, fucking River Plate versus Boca Juniors,
Yeah.
an away fan's not even allowed in their fucking home stadium because it's that fucking violent and they will kill you. The US, it's just drunk people fucking being drunk people. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's not close to like at Bayern Munich, a part of the Sud curve or the Nord curve at Frankfurt where they're going to fucking fight 30 versus 30 in a field somewhere, record that shit, and then whoever wins, now you get 3 points for the like an ultras league. They keep stats on that shit. I'll send you the link to the Telegram thing. It's fucking awesome. But it's like they'll be like Dortmund versus Bromby, 60v60, and they'll start on each sides of the field and just and run into each other. So you have like
war
those
movie.
yeah, it's like organized fights. They don't have weapons and none of that stupid crap. But they're like they've got their MMA gloves on. They're out there beating the shit out of each other. Whoever wins wins. Whoever loses loses. They shake hands. They walk away. But then you have the other aspect of that after a match. They're gonna fight you in the parking lot. They're gonna fight you in the city center. They'll shoot fucking flares at you, Roman candles at you. They'll attack you when you get off the train. Like the Bayern fans waited for the 1859 plus one fans to come back from an away game, waited for them at the train station. As they got out of the train station, Bayern was just standing there waiting. So I mean, it's for that, but for me, it's as an older person, I can't do that anymore. I can't fight a fucking 20-year-old. I get the shit kicked out of me. But like, if that's a side of the sport that I love, because the logo on your chest is what you're representing. It's almost Crips and Bloods mentality.
Right.
And the US thinks they fucking have it. And it's like, dude, no the fuck y'all don't. You have it in politics. Oh fuck yeah, you got it in politics. But in the sports world, it's like you don't have a Dallas Cowboy fan standing there waiting for a Philadelphia Eagles fan to kick the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're still gonna fight him because you're a drunk asshole. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about the ultras and that type of stuff, because that's the group that supports the LGBTQs, the transgender, like, because Bayern has Queer Pass Bayern, which is an all LGBTQ supporter group.
Mm-hmm.
As a member of the ultras, if you see them out in public, they're the most awesome group. Queer Pass is the nicest people ever till you fucking cross them. Those sons of bitches are fucking scary. But they're awesome as fuck. I love that group. But you also have groups within the group that doesn't like them and stuff like that. But that's why I was saying. When it comes down to the part of like, if somebody's fucking with like an LGBTQ member and those groups are around, shit, you ain't got a chance in hell.
Right.
You're gonna get the shit kicked out of you. But like I don't know how closely you follow MLS, but like NYCFC is literally has a group inside their supporter group that's fucking fascist Nazi pieces of shit. Like they'll do a Nazi salute during a game. And the fucking MLS and NYCFC will act like, oh, that we don't have fascists in our midst. And it's like, dude, he's literally doing a fucking Nazi salute.
Oh
Well,
my
okay,
god.
let's for everyone in the chat, futuristically wise, because I guess we're on Facebook too. I don't know how that works, but for everybody that's watching on that, the Nazi salute is actually called the Bellamy salute. I don't know how many people actually knew that, but if you Google Bellamy salute, look at who used that salute from 1880 to 1942. That's how kids in the United States saluted the national anthem and saluted the Pledge of Allegiance. So we used to do that same salute, and up until we started getting our allies saying, "Hey, maybe y'all shouldn't do that. Maybe you should do the hand over the heart." I think it was like Churchill's crew that was like, maybe y'all shouldn't be saluting a flag like that. But that's literally how we used to salute the flag. And I didn't realize that until, and it may have been one of the TYT like YouTube shorts that's
Mhm.
where I found that out. And I looked it up and I was like, holy shit. So when you see the people up there in the NYC supporters group, you trying to tell me NYC FC and the MLS don't see a Nazi version of that?
Right.
You trying to tell me they're like, oh, they're just saluting like we did in the 1880s? No, motherfucker, we know what that means now. It's like, come on. But I mean, like one of the guests we've had on here is Fiago. He's a Hamburg fan. And Hamburg's arch rival is St. Pauli. St. Pauli is the most left-leaning team I've ever seen in my life. Hamburg is kind of middle of the road, left-leaning-ish, but they have a very dark side of their fan base.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's crazy. Even at Bayern Munich, I didn't realize there's a dark element of that fan base. Even with a club like Bayern Munich that was, you know what I'm saying, started by Jewish people, ran by Jewish people, Jewish players, didn't think that would ever rear its ugly head into that club. But yeah. So, I mean, I don't understand how you can be a far right fascist and hate Jewish people, but pull for a club that literally is based in the Jewish religion. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you've probably seen, oh, we need to keep politics out of sports. That's
Yeah.
probably the most common thing besides seeing somebody say, get back in the kitchen to a woman,
Right.
like in the sport. Keep politics out of sports.
So
Well,
ironic to say that about the
football
most
is
political
yeah,
sport.
football is literally politics.
Right. Like,
Um,
I mean, but
that's
behind all the corrupt, not just like, I mean, obviously the way the teams were formed, the history of the teams can, be very extremely political. But I mean, also just like it's run by a political body in FIFA and then smaller versions of that, in UEFA, CONCACAF, what have you. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, literally, Obama sent his Justice Department to investigate corruption because
at
they didn't
fucking
win the
FIFA.
fucking bid for the World Cup.
Yeah,
Like he literally was like, okay, there's some fucking shady shit going on here. Like we lost this bid. Go start fucking investigating this until
because
you
this is
find something.
weird on how Qatar just out of nowhere got it.
Right. And they definitely
If
were not supposed to.
yeah, and the bad thing was if you paid attention like to that actual investigation, an American was the fucking money running bad
Yeah.
guy, and it's like that's literally the FIFA representative for the U.S. is the most corrupt fucking guy outside of like Sepp Blatter.
Right.
Like you wouldn't have like Adidas and the television deals and all the different the Coca-Colas and stuff like that without the political fucking backdoor shithousery that is
Right.
FIFA.
Right.
I mean, hell, fucking Adidas wouldn't even exist if the two brothers fucking actually liked themselves and one wasn't a fucking Nazi piece of shit. Yeah, fuck Puma. Puma can kiss my ass. I don't like that brother. But I mean, But you wouldn't have that if he wouldn't have went down at halftime and said, "Hey, German national team, 1954, try these wooden cleats on in this muddy game and tell me how it works." So you know what I'm saying? He had to have greased some palms to get into the locker room of a World Cup final.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, there's some shady shit. Yeah.
I mean, like they literally fucking essentially kidnapped what's his name? South Africa, Mandela, and like
Yeah.
took him on some little tour of fucking, you know, Trinidad and Tobago and like other Caribbean nations to sort of use him to campaign to
Hmm.
get the South Africa the World Cup in was it 2010? So like
Yeah.
the whole fucking like there's so much politics in this. Like everything that fucking happens, you know, from decisions, you know, in the boardrooms of these clubs. I mean, whether or not selling fucking Greenwood at United is a political fucking decision, and whether they sell him or whether they don't is making a fucking political statement.
Yeah.
And you know, to say it particularly about the women at the World Cup, because Riley, Ali Riley was wearing. They said that they couldn't wear the fucking armbands with the
Yeah.
rainbow flag. So she painted her right hand to have the rainbow flag and her left hand to have the trans flag on it. She painted her nails like
Mhm.
that. And so like
Yeah, because FIFA got really bitchy in Qatar over that. And then
right,
when the Women's Cup came out, they were like, "Oh, well, we created 5 different armband designs for the women," and it's like, shut the fuck up.
right,
Just let them wear what the fuck they want. I mean, and if you look at the like how the political structure works, as far as like say DDA Drogba literally stopped a fucking war in the Ivory Coast just by being a footballing legend.
right.
I mean, you look at fucking yeah, Sadio Mane is kind of a piece of shit because he's not playing very good. But what Sadio Mane's done for fucking Senegal, just himself. What Mo Salah's done for Egypt. Uh, what the how do you say it? Zambian,
Hmm.
the Zambian women's team this year. What it's done for fucking Zambia. Now, granted, they have arguably the greatest fucking entrance to a stadium ever. But now you've got the Nigerian women that are pretty much as good as the Nigerian men were back in like the late '90s with what's his name, Okocha, JJ Okocha. So I mean, you've got the I don't even know what you would call them because the men are the Super Eagles. I guess the women are the Super Eagles too. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
those types of things are the Haitian women making a World Cup and doing what they did against England, just holding them to one. I mean, the Haitian men could only beg to go to that. But
Right.
like you said, Jamaica having to do a fucking GoFundMe to get there. I mean, I think the Jamaican men have went once. So, I mean, and I knew for that one it was everything they had to get them to the World Cup. So, I
Right.
mean, yeah, politics literally made this sport what it is and the players and stuff like that. So,
Right. I mean,
I
even
don't
in
know.
like getting players for your national team, there's politics in that. I mean, like there was definitely
Oh, hell
politics
yeah.
in fucking getting Balogun in the United States because if it wasn't for getting snubbed by fucking
England.
Southgate, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he could have been playing for them. Or I mean, but like keeping politics out of fucking soccer. I mean, just look at George Weah. He's what the president of Liberia or what? Like,
And
yeah,
his son plays for the U.S.
right. He got he became the president of Liberia because he was a good fucking soccer player. Like, I mean, like,
And did you see when he went to see Tim Weah after one of the games in Qatar, and you see his like security
right,
detail like pushing like Christian Pulisic out of the way and shit like that, and it's like, okay, dude, they actually play on the team, don't, but it's like he's the president of fucking Liberia. They're not fucking around.
right,
But it's like, okay, so Tim Weah is just a run of the mill, maybe slightly above average player. Now he's going to fucking Juventus. Okay, so now if the president of Liberia wants to go to fucking Italy, pretty sure now he has to do like a state's visit to go
right.
see his damn son play. But then, like, I mean, it's crazy when you see all of that type of stuff. That all of these intertwined politics that go into it, even down to the point of, okay, Christian Pulisic wanted to play at Dortmund under the age of 18, but wanted to go. He couldn't because with the way that the European Union's political structure, as far as like young kids transferring in and stuff, they got sick of bringing in like the players from Africa into and basically abusing them for sport. So they made it so you had to be 18 or above. Well, Christian Pulisic had to go through his family tree to find a Croatian to
Right.
get a Croatian citizenship to be able to play at Dortmund. And when you tell that to US fans, it's like, oh, your Captain America is a fucking Croatian. Boy, they fucking hate that shit. It's true though, but they hate it.
The
I love
LeBron
that shit.
James of soccer.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. He's more like the fucking Rick James of soccer. God,
I mean,
fucking
like,
terrible.
yeah, but I was just thinking of that earlier today, just how frustrating that keep your politics out of soccer is. Because I saw people saying that to fucking Vinicius when he was on, starting his campaign against racism. I mean, like,
Oh yeah,
did
God
they think
forbid
it's
we get
not
the politics in for racism. Fuck
right?
me.
Did they think it's not political when fucking some team supporters string up a fucking doll of him and hang it or burn him in effigy? Like that's fucking political. The
Yeah.
racism, it's political when Chelsea fans, are chanting, "We're racist and we like it," while they won't let a black man get on the subway. Like these things
Or
are
you just
political.
even, or you look at, and depending on the country where you're at, some of the worst racist like supporter groups is in like Italy.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh yeah.
Italian fans are, and I'm not going to say all Italian fans, but there are a large contingent that are monkey chants and throwing bananas and shit like that.
Yeah.
But one of the by far worst is either the Hungarian league, but we all know, thanks Tucker Carlson for telling us how fucked up fucking Hungary was. But Hungary's bass backwards as far as that. But if you go to like Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia and some of those Russian teams, they I feel bad for having any non-white pure blood Russian player in that league period because they hate you. They
Right.
literally wrote a letter and stormed the fucking front office of Zenit St. Petersburg to tell them they did not want any, they called it muddy blooded people in their shit. And I'm like, fuck, dude, Barcelona just sent Malcolm, who's a African American Brazilian, to Zenit St. Petersburg. And I'm like, God damn, I feel bad for that dude because I don't know if he understands what he's walking into.
Right.
Like a lot of these kids, I don't know if they know the geopolitical shit that they're walking into a lot of times. It's fucking nuts. But yeah, and the crazy thing is like if you're in England and somebody's like, yeah, he got in trouble for a racial incident, and somebody's like, oh, at a football match, right? It's like that people in England fucking kind of know. Yeah, you got in
Right.
trouble for being a racist. Yeah, you did it at a football match, did you?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like fucking Christ. But that's the thing. When you come to the U.S., that's something you don't really see very often.
Yeah.
It's starting to slowly get to that. Like you can see it building up in the MLS and stuff. But like with the Mexico fans, like Mexican national team fans, the Puto chant. Give me a
Right.
fucking break. If Mexico says they don't want you to do it, FIFA says don't do it, CONCACAF says don't do it, but yet you do it at an MLS game, and they're like, "Oh, it's against. You don't understand what it means." Okay, the Mexican Federation said no. I think the Mexican Federation knows what it fucking means.
Right. Chanting, especially like, I mean, the choice to chant it at fucking Matt Turner in that Nations League match, which is like you lost,
Yeah.
what was it, 3-0? Like your players just
Mhm.
fucking suck shit. Sorry. Like
Yeah.
your national team has it's struggling. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Chanting fucking slurs at the goalkeeper isn't gonna fucking, fix that. Getting
yeah.
the game canceled or like ended early because you can't fucking follow the rules doesn't fix the fact that,
And
I mean,
still to this
winning
day,
the Gold Cup isn't
well, I'm not
exact.
a I'm not a Mexico fan as far as like national team, those fans. It's like I don't have an issue with most of American fans, just
Yeah.
the American Outlaws because they're fucking stupid. But it's the same as like the Mexico national team fans. I don't have a problem with any of the Liga MX guys, just the national team fans. Those are some weird fucking people. Like
They're
they
finicky fans.
they they literally like pee in a bag or in a cup and throw it at you. It's like, dude, how fucking nasty do you fucking like? I get it. You want to be like a deadly fan or like scared and people don't want to play you and that type of shit. Don't be the fucking fan group. It's like, hey, you don't want to play Mexico because their fans will throw like piss at you.
Right. You don't want to play them because their fans are gross.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, when I figured that out, I was like, okay, you do have to start questioning, okay, MLS matches, you see a lot of people standing there. They're drinking a lot of beer, a lot of sodas and shit. Not a lot of them are leaving to go to the bathroom. Bladders work a certain way. So you got to think, are y'all peeing in cups?
Right.
we got to know because halftime I see about half of y'all leaving, but I know all of y'all are drinking because I can see that. Which one of
Right.
y'all's peeing in the cups? So
They
yeah, I mean
don't
it's
i-
crazy.
in Europe, they don't let the fans drink in the stands.
Yeah, they do.
It's They do?
Mhm.
I was reading about maybe it's just the Premier League that there's a
Oh yeah,
rule.
the Premier League you cannot drink. No fuck no. No God no. That is a destiny for fucking some crazy shenanigans and shit.
Yeah.
You can drink you can't drink in the bowl at the EPL games. You can if you leave it, like the inside the bowl, like the seated area, you
Yeah.
can go out there and drink, but you
Okay.
can't bring alcohol into the actual seating area.
That
At
honestly seems
at
kind of smart.
Bayern, well, at Bayern and everywhere else in Germany, you can fucking get drunk as shit if you want to. It's fucking Germany. We fucking drink. But like during Champions League games, it was like you could. I don't know if they've changed it, but I knew at one time it was you like Bayern could serve alcohol, but it was alcohol-free beer, which was the fucking stupidest thing I had ever heard in my life. It's like, why are you just fucking give them water? You're
Right.
giving Germans fucking alcohol-free beer at a fucking match? What stupidity is this nonsense? But I mean, even then, I've seen people with like, because their cups have like the little, what do you call it? Like the little, like handle, kind of like so you
Mhm.
hold it like a mug, but all the handles fit into each other. So like
Mm.
you don't do that dumb crap at like an NFL game where you're trying to balance like six trays.
Yeah.
You just put them and it just builds up and builds up and builds up. So you just carry one like big tower of beer. Well, I've seen people at games drink five, six, seven, eight of those big ass things and have a big tower of them, and they're perfectly fucking fine. I've seen two fucking dudes at a Charlotte FC game drink two of those 24-ounce fucking IPA cans, and they are blasted out of their fucking gourds. And it's like, okay, no wonder those are the ones fucking fighting in the stands because they are blasted.
Right.
Maybe keep the pine cone flavored beer water out of the damn thing. We don't need 9% double IPA Bach fucking whatever laced with fucking vodka high noon. But yeah, just and I didn't realize like White Claw had like 6% fucking alcohol. It's
Yeah.
fucking water.
One of them has 8% or 9%.
Sweet fucking Jesus. Is that like high noon, like the vodka water? Oh, bless you.
Thank you. No, I mean they just have like one that's double. It's
Fuck
called the
that.
Surge.
But why? It's fucking water. We're so fucked in this country. Three ingredients: wheat, water, barley. Fucking call today. Why you gotta fuck with it? So, all right. Well, we're going on 2 hours and 44 minutes. You're probably to the point of like, fuck this. This is craziness.
No,
So,
I should probably head out, but not fuck this.
but yeah, you are welcome back anytime. We'll probably bring you back towards the end of the Women's World Cup once the U.S. gets their asses knocked the fuck out. But we'll probably bring you back on as like say before, like say maybe the even the semifinals for
Okay.
previewing like the semifinal, that type of stuff, and recapping the rest. And then we'll go from there. Maybe do something for the World Cup final, something along those lines. That work?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All righty. Well, guys, thank y'all for watching. Even though we know you didn't watch early, but I know you're gonna be watching later on because we get a lot of views after the fact. But everybody, make sure you go follow Rayyvana on all of her social medias. It's been scrolling across the bottom the whole time. I don't know which the soccer only Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I just made it. I'm starting a new podcast called Final Third. It's
Oh
all
shit!
about soccer because I needed an outlet to because half my audience hates when I talk about soccer. Half of it is only there for the soccer. So I was like, let me just put all this in one. So yeah, it's at Final Third Pod on Twitter, but yeah, there's like nothing on it yet. So
Oh, okay.
but
Well,
yeah.
make sure when Final Third Pod starts back up, everybody go over there and check out that. Because she's gonna have some good insights into Premier League stuff and different forms of women's game, the men's game. Just don't bring up no fucking hey, the U.S. women lost 12-0 to fucking Wrexham's men. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, I mean, and to
So
be fair, those were all retired players. Some of them just played in the U.S., not for the U.S. women's national team.
yeah,
And
well,
some of them,
and the biggest issue was is like for me, and I promise I won't keep you long on that, but for me, it's the biggest thing was is when the women asked for more money, everybody said, "Well, you don't have the support. People don't come watch the women's game." I will straight fucking call that bullshit right here now.
right?
When they played Wrexham, Wrexham probably brought about maybe 2,000 fans to that. Overall, I'd say over that weekend for the group stages and everything that Wrexham had, maybe 7,000 fans total across the entire weekend. The women's national team brought 5,000 per game. And when they played Wrexham, they probably had upwards of, I'd say there was 10,000 total. I'd say at least 7,500 of them were U.S. women's fans.
Yeah.
So the thing is like, just based on that, you had West Ham, you had all these other big Dortmund, Wrexham, who's coming off of the TV and all that kind of shit, getting ready for a U.S. tour and all that stuff. More U.S. women fans were out there than anything. And they weren't like, it's the thing that I liked the most about it. It wasn't adults. It was like two moms that brought like 12 little girls that were soccer players. You know what I'm saying? It was grandma and mom that brought 3 kids with them.
Right.
And the cool thing, Heather O'Reilly and all the other players would stand there and sign autographs until their fucking arms hurt in 98-degree weather. But then you have, you know what I'm saying, other teams that may sign autograph here or there, people that may, you know what I'm saying? But overall, it was a great experience because you could talk to everybody. But that specific tournament showed the U.S. women have pull. Now, granted, they're not going to compete against those men. I mean, it with that field, I honestly thought that it would be able to because it's a smaller field. It's more technically sound play versus all out running like in a regular full game. It's just the thing is yeah, they were getting bowled over. Like Lee Trundle outweighed Heather O'Reilly by fucking 120 pounds.
Right.
Yes, he's gonna push her off the fucking ball. That's just gonna happen. But the thing is what I like to see was the U.S. women didn't back down from fucking anybody. They may have gotten trounced, but they didn't give a shit who was on the other side of that field. But and the common thing you'll see is Heather O'Reilly saying, "Oh, Ryan Reynolds, we're coming for you," blah blah blah. That's always the fucking introduction to well, then they got beat 12-0. Women shouldn't play the game. And it's like, okay, obviously you don't know how fucking marketing works,
Right.
because she probably brought another 30,000 eyes on YouTube and shit because of that. So, yes, continue to share that and pretend that you're making the women's game look like shit. You're actually sharing it for more people to fucking watch. You
Right.
fucking idiots. But it's okay. They watch Andrew Tate, so they're not the brightest goddamn crowns in the box. So, all right. Well, almost 3 hours. So we will go ahead and end this here so you can get to doing everything you got to do, because I got to go let my old French bulldog out. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday with 2 Guam international players at the Guam International Camp. So, Rayyvana, if you get bored, you can tune in for that one. We'll have Jonah Romero and Jason Cunliffe from the Guam national team as they're making their way to the, I think it's World Cup qualifiers. So they're
Cool.
trying to qualify for the World Cup with Guam, which everybody knows is about that big of a country. So it's a pretty big deal. So, but make sure y'all tune in then. Follow Rayyvana on all the social media networks. And we appreciate you. We're out.